All right, today's guest is Julio Varela, otherwise known as DJ Doctor Who.
What's up, man?
What's up? How you doing, Julio?
Good, man. Yeah, just another day in paradise, man. Happy to be here.
Yeah, man. We actually just met last night.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. I thought you were like setting up camp, dude, and it's like one spot, two spots next to me, and I was like, whoa. What's going on here, man? What are you doing here, man? What's up with this mess of trash right here, man? I mean, I started to come up to you. I honestly thought you were like setting up shop right there, setting up camp, and I was like, I mean, you looked pretty clean cut, pretty nice and stuff, and dressed pretty well. So I was kind of like, what's up with this guy right here? I thought it's you and that dude were setting up, and then when you're like, no, I'm just here trying to interview people, man. And I was like, oh,
yeah. So I've been looking for somebody who is homeless, kind of going through that situation in life. And I've talked to homeless people here and there when I come across them, but nobody really can articulate, because as you know,
yeah.
A lot of those guys are kind of out of it down there.
Yeah, they're, I like to say fucked off.
But you came up and you were like, what are you doing? What's going on? And you were kind of like, I could tell you were kind of holding down the area.
Yeah.
You spoke really well. You were polite at the same time, but you were also kind of policing the area, trying to keep the area clean. I started talking to you for a while. You and I ended up hanging out and talking. I think it was like almost a couple hours.
I think it was about maybe an hour or so, close to.
Well, remember I drove you to pick up your stuff.
Yeah. You told me, and that was really helpful, man. That really was a blessing for me to get that stuff, because I was worried about all my shit getting thrown away, because I had been staying before I was on. I mean, I've been on the street and stuff.
How long have you been on the streets?
Well, since I moved back to Denver, I moved back knowing that I was not going to have a place to stay, and I knew I could probably just stay in the shelters with the Denver Rescue Mission, which that place is like a blessing. Like really, I love that place. I love the staff. What they offer for homeless people is a place to eat, a place to sleep, a place to shower, a place to be clean, and just a place to be safe and rest. You can go to the Lawrence Street, Jesus Saves, downtown, and just sleep outside in the courtyard. You can just, if you wanted to lay down and sleep, you can just sleep. They don't bother you. You can try and sleep inside where the cafeteria where they feed. And then in the morning, there's this guy, the preacher. It's really a Bible-based, Christ-driven.
But you don't stay there all the time.
I don't stay there all the time. Like you have to. It's like there's so many people in Denver that are homeless, and they don't have enough beds for enough space for all the homeless people. So it's like they do a lottery in a way, to where you have to go in. You get a card, a clarity card. Once you're registered with the Denver or the Homeless Coalition, you get what they call a clarity card, and that basically gives you. It gives you the ability to go into any of the places. You kind of
because there's only so many spots, right?
Yeah, you go and scan in for the Holly randomizer. Holly is like the overflow, sort of like anybody can go there. You don't have to have an assigned bed. There's several different missions that you have to have. In order to get in there, you have to have an assigned bed. In all the missions, most of them, you have to have an assigned bed.
So, but you sleep mostly.
I sleep on the street, right?
Yeah, where I met you.
Yeah,
where the tents are at.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys
sleep on the street, next to the street.
Is that Broadway right there?
No, that is Park Avenue.
Park Avenue. That's right.
Yeah.
And I mean, the downtown traffic is literally driving 10 feet away from your tent.
It's kind of a little bit nerve-wracking for me. Sometimes I've thought about it, because there's fools who are driving super fast or whatever. I woke up the other day, like about a week ago. I'd been staying with this guy who kind of welcomed me into his tent. Like, your tent's your home, your house, that's your spot. He'd welcome me kind of in there because I knew him from the street. I'd met him, and he seemed pretty cool. But it ended up ending in a way to where I remember I was feeling kind of sick. I'm just starting to get over being sick, and I don't have COVID, and I didn't have the flu. Just had some sort of respiratory thing that was going around and stuff. And I was like, in the last 3 weeks or close to, I'm feeling better now. I've hacked up more mucus than I've ever hacked in my whole life, like enough for 6 people, it seemed. But anyways, I was kind of sick. I remember I woke up at like 4 a.m, and there was an accident, a car accident right in the intersection right there. And that's one of the things that I think about. It's like, damn, dude, if there was some fucker just speeding, like, and they just wreck, they could take out like.
Oh yeah, there's nothing protecting you guys at all.
There's a couple trees, light pole that is there, but if a car happened to veer off and just flip over, and you take out like whoever's on the street right there, you're gonna kill.
Yeah.
So I'm in the back of my mind. I've thought about it, but I'm like, whatever happens.
I noticed when I was talking to you last night, people were driving by yelling stuff, honking, like holding their horns, and nobody was in the street.
No,
or there was no other car they were honking at. And I asked you, like, I wonder what they're doing. You said they do that to us all the time.
But people do a lot. Sometimes people do that. They're just trying to be annoying and bothersome to people who are sleeping, or just bother the homeless people in the tents, or just scare somebody, just annoy people, or who knows? Maybe they're just like, hey, dude, fight the power, or hey, I'm with you, or who knows?
Yeah.
But I think more it's just to be annoying more than anything, just be annoying.
It sounds like it's a mixture.
Yeah, it's a mixture of things. Who knows? Nobody's like saying, holding up a sign saying, honk if you're horny and homeless, like that. It's like, it's just happens. But honestly, I think it's more because where I'm at now, that like encampment, that's what you call it, like an encampment, just popped up like it's pretty new, but it's been there for probably about 5 weeks or so, maybe, I don't know, give or take. I've noticed it be there. And it's kind of grown a little bit around that whole area. There's tents starting to pop up around there.
So I noticed Denver's removing the homeless as well.
They're trying to remove that homeless look. I mean, the trash, the dirtiness, and that's what I was policing more than anything. When I saw you and I thought you were popping up, because some people were just popping up a tent, and you saw me how I was like, hey, bro, no, you can't have this right here. You had the cord, like it would have been a fucking.
Yeah, you did. You said you can't do that because pedestrians have to be able to walk down the sidewalk.
He had a wire, just like it was like neck level.
Yeah, it was probably 4.5 feet off the ground.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and he's like an immigrant from somewhere. I don't know, or Spanish speaker of some sort from either. There's a lot of immigrants right now that the governor brought in October from Venezuela, Colombia. I don't know, just from South.
Yeah,
Latino.
I wanted to ask you about that because I noticed there's kind of a couple different groups kind of in that area. Like all of the Americans, no matter what they are, if they're white, black, Hispanic, you guys are all kind of on one side.
If you split up that area, they're all kind of together and stuff. Yeah.
And then on the other group seemed to be people from like Colombia, Honduras. Because
immigrants.
I tried to talk to them because I was talking to a bunch of people just trying to find someone like you to come do the podcast. And obviously I couldn't communicate well with them because I have very limited Spanish.
Yeah.
And, but I noticed they were all I asked them where they were from, and they're from Honduras and Colombia. And I think someone said Venezuela. Yep. And they all seem pretty young.
Yeah, they're all pretty young. I don't know what happened, but there was an influx of them that came in October. And I had started, talking and finding, and when I started realizing that all these immigrants are coming in, all these Spanish speakers, to me, I'm Chicano. I'm an American. I'm from America. I don't even hardly speak Spanish, but I can speak enough Spanish where I can kind of like communicate and express things to them. But sometimes people start talking to me and they start talking real fast. I'm like, oh, no me entiendes, no sabes. Like, I don't understand.
But it just shows how some of these people are coming to this country and then ending up homeless.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like they're coming in. I mean, any immigrants, it's not like they're coming in like with a family here with a place for them to stay. Some of them maybe, but for the most part, they're just coming in trying to just get away from the country that they're at, or wherever that they're just trying to start in America, start over fresh, just like immigrants. Yeah, all since history, people trying to come to America.
It's interesting you said there's an influx starting in October, because there's a Home Depot not too far from my house. And I go down there, and starting around October, I noticed that there was a lot of Spanish-speaking people standing in the parking lot outside of the Home Depot, which is, I lived in California for a while, and that was in every Home Depot, right? Because there's tons of immigrants, Spanish speakers. It's actually a genius idea.
Yeah.
They hang out and say, hey, you want me to do landscaping? You want me to build something for you?
Roofing, plumbing, whatever skill set they got, they're just advertising.
It seems like there's a lot more though now, right?
Right. And I never saw that here. And then starting around in October, there's tons of people standing in the parking lot saying like, hey, hire me for stuff.
Yeah. So, and it's just, and that's when I first had met you and I saw you, there was some immigrants just setting up shop, setting up tent. And I saw that and I was like, whoa, and it's a nice looking tent and stuff. And I don't know if you knew how to do it very well. You started helping them a little bit.
Well, that one that was cut.
That blue one. Yeah. And then so I was like, no. This cannot be like this, man. What the hell? People are going to hurt themselves. Some bicyclist riding through, doesn't see it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Or anybody. Yeah. And he didn't even, to him, it didn't even didn't make sense. Like, that's not common sense. Come on, man.
So I asked you this before, but we kind of just start talking about some other things. How long have you been homeless?
Probably about, I don't know, probably about close to, I mean, if you count the time where I was actually living in my vehicle for a little bit, that was, probably about 2 to 3 years, maybe about 2 years.
And how old are you right now?
I'm 48. I just turned 48 on the 19th.
Yeah, so you and me talked about this last night. My I'll turn 48 next month. Yeah. We're the same age. You're a little bit older than me, so.
Yeah. So you got to respect your elders.
That's right.
Yeah. People don't know that. That's not even a concept that's taught to kids anymore. And that's like American culture, like respect, or in the world, and like biblically, like respect, honor, respect your elders.
Absolutely. Another thing that I noticed last night, because before I got to your area, I was making my way to your area and going through all the other places where I knew that homeless people were at before, the tent encampments, but they weren't there anymore. And I ran into this guy who was in an alley, and he was doing something by the wall, and I could tell he was, he had the backpack, the beanie, the jacket, the whole homeless. I could tell he was homeless.
Yeah.
And when I got close to him, I seen like a whole bunch of needles on the ground around him.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot. And so I was talking to him, seemed like a nice guy. I think I forget his name. He told me his name. I talked to him for about 10, 15 minutes. He's from, I think, Washington State. He's like 26 years old, and just talking to him and asking him about things and kind of what he was, what he was using one of the needles.
Now you saw him, like you just see.
He was turned away from me, so I didn't see it. I've seen drug addicts before, but he wasn't trying to like do it. But he was when I pulled up, I think he was doing it. He was hunched over and turned away. Or he had just gotten done. He was cleaning up stuff. So as I'm talking to him, he had like the like those fat soda bottles that are about this tall.
Yeah.
I don't know if those are like 20 ounces or something like that. And he was picking up all the needles and he was talking to me about
putting them in the bottle.
In the bottles.
Yeah.
Have you seen that before?
Yeah. He's trying to clean up, trying to clean it up.
Yeah.
That's not shit you want to be leaving around, because that's disrespectful, man.
That's actually what he told me. He said, I don't want to leave any of these needles around in case somebody finds them. Well, he had 3 of those bottles. 2 of them were packed.
Full of them? Yeah, he's just going to throw them away.
Well, he said he was going to go take them to an exchange place.
Yeah. Well, they'll just throw them. They're not going to reuse them. They're just throw them away.
But I couldn't believe how many needles he had in each one. Like, I swear there must have been 50 needles in each of those bottles. Yeah. And then he had another bottle that had just a few in it. I don't know if that's the one he was kind of...
No, he's not keeping them in there. Those are all throwaways. He's not going to... A responsible needle user is not going to use any of those. He's just going to throw them away. He's just being responsible and just trying to protect kids.
Sure.
Or anybody walking around with flip-flops or just stupid enough to
he actually
stick themselves.
He actually said that. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty...
I recall having a conversation with a gentleman that told me that there is in Denver, I don't know if it's at a hospital, but there's a needle exchange program.
Needle exchange program.
Because they would, it's better to use a clean, if someone's going to use a needle, it's so much better to use a clean needle than to use one that they started doing needle exchange programs so that people could at least have clean needles and not get infections and die.
It's awesome too. That place is a blessing to the streets and drug users and addicts as well, all over. That place, if you ever see, there's they drive around in vans and they'll just post up. You can go to the needle exchange. There's 2 different ones. you can go there and it's not like you can go there and shoot up or use. They actually had talked about that for a while, having safe places for people to shoot up, because some people don't know how to. They don't know responsible needle usage or drug usage, and that's what causes things like disease or people just dying and spreading disease and getting infections.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
getting losing limbs and stuff. Because I don't know if you've ever seen Requiem for a Dream. It's a Darren Aronofsky. Yeah, that dude ended up losing his arm because he kept shooting into that spot. I mean, that shit was nasty. It looked like a freaking ant pile on his arm, but he just kept doing it until he lost his arm at the end.
Yeah.
And I mean, had there been a needle exchange where it's like in that movie, in that situation, that probably wouldn't have happened. Who knows? But that place, I forget what it's called, but it's a needle exchange. They have places you can go every day or certain times, and they'll give you fresh packs of needles. They'll give you all kinds of stuff to try and stop. It's harm reduction. That's what they call it, harm reduction.
Sure.
That's basically what it is.
A lot of places are doing that now.
But if you ever see one of those vans anywhere,
makes sense.
You see them, because I just recently I saw that, and I'm not a needle user. Like, I have been in the past, but I don't do that anymore. And I made a promise to somebody to never do that again, and I've kept that promise. I gave myself an abscess one time doing it. Like, there's a way to do it. There's a right way and a wrong way to do everything. But
what drugs do you prefer these days?
I like hallucinogenics for sure. That's like my favorite all-time thing. Any sort of hallucinogenics, like LSD, mushrooms, ecstasy. That's pretty much the main thing. LSD, mushrooms, ecstasy, methamphetamine, and that's basically weed. Smoke weed and stuff. And that's pretty much it. But my favorite, my favorite, is that what you're saying? Or more things I do?
No, that's all I was asking.
Okay, yeah.
Just kind of, because you said you don't shoot up anymore.
No.
So I'm just,
never been an opiate user. Like, other than like when I was not like a kid, but when I was like about younger, I take oxycodone, hydrocodone. Those are opiates. That's basically poppy seeds, and it's and that whole fentanyl, heroin, it's opiates. But I've never really been an opiate user. I've never liked the thought of being so disengaged from reality yourself that you're not aware of what's going on, or you're like passed out. I don't even know how you can consider that fun, or like, like you're just laying there, just kind of like, I don't know. That doesn't seem fun to me.
And that's funny. That ties back to, you were saying they were talking about having places to shoot up safely downtown, which is an interesting thought, because there's a lot of misconceptions about, what people are like when they're on certain drugs, right? So you talk to somebody who's never been around it, and you mention, heroin, and they're like, whoa, someone does heroin, they're going to run out in the streets and murder people. And it's like, no, they're going to sit on the ground and they're just going to chill for like however many hours. So the idea of having a place for people to safely shoot up is really just like, we're going to monitor people and make sure they don't die.
Yeah, or make sure somebody else doesn't hurt them while they're pretty much just laid out, doing just
kind of vulnerable, huh?
Yeah, they're vulnerable. Yeah, that's one of the things I do not like is being
up. Just
sorry.
No, you're good.
I don't like the whole vulnerability factor that I see people like going through while they're high on blues or fentanyl, and that's just running rampant right now.
So blues. When I was down there last night, there was a girl that walked up to I was talking to a couple guys. Just around the corner there was I think Thomas was there.
Yeah.
And then I think there was a Puerto Rican guy who's there just on the corner.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
Probably Puerto Rico. Is that his nickname? Yeah, Thomas was trying to tell me, he said, I want you to meet Puerto Rico.
Okay.
I like Thomas. He's a good kid, man. He's got a good energy.
Yeah, that's your buddy, man.
Yeah.
Thomas came up to me. Thomas came, he didn't trust me yesterday.
Nah.
And then he came up to me when I was leaving, and he said, hey, I want to apologize to you. I said, for what, man? He said, well, when you first walked over here and was trying to, talk to us, I didn't really like you, and I didn't want to talk to you, and I didn't trust you. And come to find out, I realized you didn't mean any harm to us.
Yeah.
So I said, no, you don't have to worry, man. I was the one who, you don't have to apologize. I told him. I was the one that walked up to you guys and, coming with my weird shit. So I get it.
Yeah. I mean, and it's cool. People like, and that's like the camaraderie amongst the homeless people that at least most should have. And that's why with the immigrants coming in, it's like there's a little bit of a, I mean, they need to really understand the rules and respect of the streets.
I sense there was some tension.
Maybe a little bit. There can be, because there's just that language barrier to where like you don't understand.
And they were also blasting music very loud.
Yeah. That's not really a problem. I mean, I blast my music loud.
Okay.
I like to listen. I mean, but I'll ask my neighbor. I'll say, hey, I just met my neighbor yesterday, and he just had become my new, like the tent I'm in now, I own now. I basically bought it from the guy who
the tent you live in now.
Yeah, Matt. I got it from Matt. Remember you said you had met Matt. You said he was kind of like fucked off on the corner. Like,
oh yeah. So Matt was the guy who had like 20 or 30 different items on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
He was bent over, just kind of looking at them, picking them up, setting them down, rearranging them.
Yeah.
He picked up a TV mount. Yeah. And he kind of did the hinge like this, and he told me this is a TV mount. And then he had like some car air fresheners. He had like things that don't even go together.
Just a bunch of random stuff.
A bunch of random stuff.
I was walking around.
But he's trying to like work on them and make something out of them. I could tell he was kind of high at the time. So he was in the zone. Right?
Yeah, that's just fuckery. That's straight up. I tell people all the time, I haven't really used that vocabulary in a while, but that's fuckery. Like, you're just fucked off and just like doing something stupid. Like, it's like not helping anybody out or not doing anything positive for you, not really doing anything, but you're just fucking off and you're like in fuckville.
And I noticed you, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not trying to assume, but I kind of noticed, because I'm sure you may have been high last night when I met you, or today you may have been high at different points when I was around picking you up and stuff.
Yeah.
Because you guys all went to the tent for a while, and there was different guys going in, and people were coughing inside. Yeah. Like they were smoking.
Well, that was me coughing, because I'm just still trying to like hack out.
Nobody was smoking nothing?
No, not well, maybe a little bit, but I was the one coughing, because if you were mainly most coughing comes from smoking weed. You're like, a lot of coughing comes from just smoking weed. Like if you're smoking dope, like clear, that's what I call it, dope. People like when you say dope, people automatically assume heroin. They're like, are smoking dope, you fucking dope smokers. Like,
I'm thinking like meth or something like that.
Yeah, smoking dope is people, I don't know, nowadays people, when you say dope, people, what's really rampant on in everywhere, kind of eating the world alive, is methamphetamine. It's really that's just, it's legal in some senses. It's basically ephedrine. It's like Adderall, it's Ritalin, it's prescribed to people. They have legal meth. You can get, I don't know what it's called, diox or something, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what it is. It's basically meth, but legal, where some people need that. Some people who have like ADHD or ADD, that's what they prescribe kids when they're young. Methamphetamine. It's not like street meth, but it's basically the same shit.
Sure.
I mean, I remember when I was growing up, when crack was the big thing, everybody crack, smoke crack, people smoke crack. I remember when I was like in elementary, I think it was about 83, 84. I remember them showing us an article. Maybe that's when the DARE program was really big and stuff. And they're showing us an article about ice. It's hitting the streets soon. Ice is coming out. That was basically shards or crystal methamphetamine that's like turned into crystals and basically used. And that's all it is methamphetamine is amphetamine. It's ephedra. It's just a chemical composition that's created. What I was told is Hitler was the one who created methamphetamine, like meth, for his soldiers. To make them like super soldiers. Like, you don't...
Man.
Yeah.
No, I have heard that. I mean, he was a drug addict himself.
Yeah, I've heard it. It's like pretty well documented that he was on like, it was meth, basically. I don't know exactly what it was, but he was hyped up all the time, and they did distribute it to their soldiers to keep them marching through the night instead of sleeping or whatever.
Yeah, they didn't really need to eat much. Yeah. They didn't really sleep much, and they were just on the go.
So last night,
and
what I was going to say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy. So last night when I was there too, there was this girl that walked up. I was saying earlier when I was over by Puerto Rico, I think you said, Thomas said was his name. And a girl walked up. She had a little bag of weed. Mm-hmm. She was trying to trade that weed for blue or
fentanyl.
Clear.
Okay, blue or clear. Yeah.
And what is blue and what is clear?
Blues are what, like I said, right now it's starting to be the new thing that's like just killing people off. The fentanyl. It's basically fentanyl. It's there's Fetty powder. People do Fetty powder. It's like pure fentanyl. It comes in a powder form. I don't even know how fentanyl isn't. I don't even know how fentanyl is distributed or made or what, but it's a drug that has been used to. It's an opiate. It's just like for pain. It's for pain management. Like in hospitals, they give you fentanyl.
Apparently, most of it comes from China.
Right now, that's where a lot of the big China
comes up through Mexico.
Yeah, but all it is basically fentanyl, and it's opioids. It's basically like synthetic heroin. Pretty much.
So when you were getting ready to come with me today, when I went to pick you up, there was a guy that drove by on that wheelchair, that motorized wheelchair.
Yeah,
that guy must have been 70 years old, 65,
he was
70.
looking for some blues. Yeah,
he was saying, that's what he said as he rode by. You guys got some blues? You got some blues?
Yeah, I tell people, nah, man, I don't fuck with that shit, man. I'm not cool with that. I don't like people who do that. I mean, it's not like I don't like that person. I just don't like the fact that they do that. And I just don't like it. I don't like it because it's nasty. First of all, this shit stinks. If you're ever around a place and you get to smell this weird, like shitty, weird fucking smell, and that's blues. They're smoking blues. And the way they do that is they use foil, they put a pill on it, and they just basically get a lighter and put it under the foil. And what it does is starts to basically just melt the blue. Then it just will run down. You start it at one point of the foil. People...
is that where they were getting the pens?
Tutor pens. It's just a regular big pen. They use it as a tutor to
because I heard one of the guys come over and ask somebody else if they had a pen.
A pen, yeah, a tutor.
Yeah.
You want a tutor. Basically like when people used to sniff coke, as a use a round pen or tutor, something rolled up. But they're just using that to
suck the vapor.
The smoke, yeah.
Yeah.
They're lighting the lighter underneath the foil, and it starts melting and running down. And as the smoke comes up, they're just.
So I noticed also that people kept going into different tents, like in groups of 2, groups of 3.
Well, they're just going to people. They're just visiting people or going to somebody's home, just coming over, stopping by, saying what's up.
No, they came out of those tents different than they went.
Well, sometimes people just go. Sometimes people are just going. They're just getting high, doing whatever.
Yeah. I mean, so that's what I was going to ask you. My point in asking you that is, do people like to get high alone, or do they like to get high with someone else?
Well,
or it depends.
Most people like to get high. A lot of people like to get high alone because then they have more for themselves. They like to. They just like to make sure they have enough for themselves. But a lot of people just usually. This is one thing I've always realized and thought. When people are doing drugs, most people like doing drugs together with somebody else. They want somebody else to do drugs with them, so they don't have the guilt of being the only one doing the bad things. So they're like, "Oh, we're doing this together."
Well, it seems like
not bad.
It seems like you
bad one,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you're hanging out with two, birds of a feather flock together. You know what I mean? Like you're a gaggle of geese. That's what you call a group of a flock of geese. A gaggle.
Is it a gaggle?
Yeah, and a flock of crows. You know what that's called?
No.
A murder.
A murder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like Alfred Hitchcock, a murder and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what you call. And everything has like a.
Because it seemed like you guys were all friendly and you guys know each other and you have relationships with each other.
Well, for the most part, a lot of homeless people on the street know who to talk to, who to get something from, or where you can get this and that from.
Because that's your family, right?
Kind of. I mean, we're all in a sense in this struggle together, but that's not really how it is. It's not how it is. It is still savage. It's very savage on the streets, very dangerous and very scary sometimes. I got no fear. I ain't scared of shit out there. But sometimes there are situations where I'm like, this is a little.
Yeah, I noticed when I went to look for you over at the Mission, because Thomas said you were over there today when I was looking for you to pick you up. I walked over there. It was pretty tense, man. Like the crowd that was over at the Mission seemed like people were pretty tense, pretty serious crowd, man.
Yeah, everybody is pretty much pretty on their toes. They're on their toes, looking out for somebody who's trying to get one up on them, or take something from them, or take advantage of them, or hurt them. Because there are people out there who aren't even homeless, who don't like homeless people, who will hurt them. There's been cases where homeless people being killed, or hurt just because people don't like hobos. They call them hobo haters, and that's a term I've heard. Hobo haters. People don't like homeless people for whatever reason. I think more boils down to they're just jealous that they got to go to work every day and they got all this responsibility. These motherfuckers, all they're doing is sitting there getting high, doing nothing, just laying around.
Very well could be.
Yeah, just chilling. I think that's what a lot of it comes down to. People are like, man, I'm here busting my ass working, fucking 40 hours a week or plus, and I got freaking rent, mortgage, all this stuff, got all these payments and this and that. And this fucking dude's over here wanting my money. Trying to fly a sign. That's what they call it. When you see people on the street flying a sign, that's what's called flying a sign. They want my money? Oh, hell no, man. But most people, it makes it intense.
Most people probably do not. They'd rather not be homeless.
A lot of people would rather not. But they'd rather be in where they used to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Like everybody has a home for the most. Nobody's born. I mean, there are people born homeless on the streets. I know some people. Some gutters. This one chick in general, she was born on the street. She's been homeless her whole life. She was born on the street.
She was a kid on the street with
her family. She was born on the street, and she was gutter, and
she's still on the street.
I don't know. I haven't run into her for a while, but she's really cool, man. She's a homegirl of mine. Homegirl is like kind of just like friend, homegirl, homeboy. That's an old like sort of Chicano. That's a gangster talk. That's my homeboy. That really is like.
It's not just Chicano.
Oh yeah, but it's like homeboy, homegirl. Like you're
I've been around a little bit. I know.
Yeah. But it's really, yeah. But that's my homeboy, my homegirl. I used to go to her to help me cop stuff, help me find some clear and stuff.
Question back to something you said before. You said that, well, I guess it was something that Jeremiah said. You talked to, what was your friend's name that he talked to that said he didn't trust you?
Thomas.
So Thomas said he was weary of Jeremiah being down there because he didn't trust him. Is there, and like you said, some people come down there to mess with you guys. Like, is that the main reason that he would be, like, why would he be distrustful of somebody walking into the camp there?
Because there are people who have ulterior motives or negative motives, like towards homeless people, and just you just watching out because you don't know what somebody's trying to do. Why are they there? Are they a cop? Are they somebody who's trying to take advantage of you, steal from you, hurt you, whatever? There are people who, it's just like in life, everywhere you go, don't talk to strangers. Don't let strangers come up and start talking to you and take advantage of you.
And another point is too, what took you long, because when I went to pick you up, took you quite a while to get ready. Yeah. No, it's not a problem. I'm just getting to a point here. You were packing up stuff.
Yeah.
And you packed up a backpack, a duffel bag, and took some other loose stuff.
I took my skateboard, my longboard.
Your longboard.
Yeah.
And you wanted to bring those with you. Those are in my car, in the back of my car right now. And because you didn't want to leave those because they could possibly get stolen.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
So that could be another thing. Someone like me lurking around that nobody recognizes. Yeah, like, who's this fucking guy?
Yeah, just going and just popping in tent or just stealing stuff.
Yeah,
taking things from you. People are really on the street. People are just very protective of their things. You don't have. It's like I don't have much. This is all I got. I don't need you taking what I got just because you want it. But you didn't pay for it. You don't deserve that. That's mine. Whatever it is.
Yeah,
and that's why a lot of times people are collecting all these things because they want that.
Is there
they have a need for that? They think they can use that for something to build something better or make. Or they want that. They're like, I want that. Whatever. There's a freaking cane right there. That's weird. I want that. I need that. Or whatever it is. It's like I want. That's why Matt. He had all that stuff. Who knows? Just walking. People just start walking around picking stuff up that they think they can use for something else, or somebody else could use it. It's one of the things that. I experienced one time when I was kind of new to homelessness was, I remember running into this one guy and I was talking to him and for a little while I kept posting up that Beta nightclub in their trash bin area. There's like a little area that was kind of closed off, but they left it open. You could get in there and just chill there. And I just kept kind of hanging out there and stuff and just being protected from rain or whatever. I wasn't really sleeping there, but I was just kind of hanging out there and stuff. And just kind of I don't know, get high there and shit. Just have a safe place that was enclosed and stuff. I remember I met this one guy. I just kind of bumped into him, ran into him. And we were just kind of like talking, and I'm like, hey man, you want to get high and shit like that? Or he said that. And then so, yeah. So we went to go to the spot where I was at. And he had just he had a backpack of stuff. And I was still kind of new to homelessness. I never really experienced this. He starts busting out all his things and laying them out. And he goes, all right, this is what I got. What do you got? Like, what you got something that can help me that maybe we could trade for? he can help you out and stuff. And that's kind of like like a mantra of homelessness is like, how can you help somebody with? Because there is that sense of family. That's where it should be. That's like family to help each other, trying to help each other and help each other with needs or wants, that something you need or something you want. Like I've been telling people, I wear size 13 shoes. You see, if you come across any nice shoes that like, I love Adidas for one thing, but just comfortable shoes, but that are black, size 13. I got them, or I like them. So maybe we can work something out for some. Maybe I got something you want. But he goes, "This is what I got," and I didn't even know he was gonna do it. He goes, "This is what I got," and I saw it, and I was like, "That is kind of the way it felt." I was still kind of new to homelessness, and that is kind of the way it is. Like, hey, man, do you need this? People just like give people stuff. Do you need that for anything? Can this help you out on your journey, in your daily life? I mean, I got something that could probably help you out. Like, oh man, I need a light. You got a light? I got a light. People just. That's why people start picking up stuff just to use to help people out or to help themselves out.
So
they need
so besides bartering,
bartering basically.
Absolutely. Besides bartering, what is the economy when you're homeless? Like, how do people make money to buy things?
Well, some of them are
like drugs aren't cheap.
No, drugs aren't free.
And you're not doing that trading what you got in your backpack. There's no way.
No. If I have stuff that's in my back, the things that I have out there, are things that I want and make sure I keep.
Those are more personal things.
Yeah,
those aren't things you can sell. You can trade for drugs.
Well, I mean, I could if I wanted to, but I don't want to. Like, I really don't usually sell my things, get rid of my things. The things that I have, the clothes that I wear, are things that like I choose to have or I want to have.
Yeah,
I'm pretty like trying to be well kept, clean stuff. Just very picky with everything that I want or choose to have around me or people around me. I'm very, very picky and choosy and selective of my circle.
How do people make money?
Oh, how do the people make money? Just hustling, bartering, or flying a sign, just panhandling, or working, panhandling, money from the government, like government assistance. A lot of people are on food stamps. They're on EBT, and some of them get money assistance from the government. So
they trade sometimes.
I mean,
what they have on the card, maybe they trade
for drugs or food. And I mean that's been going on forever.
For sure. I remember in the late 80s, early 90s when people had the food stamps, actual paper food stamps.
Yeah.
And they would do the 2-for-1.
Yeah, exactly. It's still 50 cents on a dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got 100 food stamps, you can get $50 worth of whatever it is or whatever.
So it's the same way still.
Same way still.
Wow.
50 cents on the dollar.
Nothing changes.
Whatever it is, like a gift card. Somebody was coming to you with a gift card for something and want that for trade. That's like, well, that's half. Well, I don't care how much money is on a gift card. Still, it's worth half to me because it's not real money. I mean, I can use it for something, or somebody could use it for something, but it's not real money. It's not.
That's just the deal that goes, with those things.
Yeah, it's not, because it's an effort. Now you have to go through the effort to. You can't. Money is tangible and something that you have that you can use for trade and stuff. But a gift card, now you have to go through the effort of. Well, first of all, this gift card is only good at that place, and it's only good for those things at that place. So it's not worth as much. Somebody might be like, I'll take that, but I'm not going to give you as much for it.
I noticed a lot of females down there too, and I noticed last night there was a girl who came. She was in a vehicle. She came out of the vehicle. The guy drove off, and I'm not saying she didn't know the guy or she just didn't get dropped off, but she went to one of the tents. And then today I noticed there was a girl that went to a tent with somebody, and the guy came back. He came out, and his drawers were still pulled down. Like he went in there with his drawers, his pants were pulled up. He came out, and his ass was showing. Like,
really?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there, but I mean, that's if there's any sort of prostitution, that's gone on since the dawn of time.
For sure. I'm just asking, it's kind of unfortunate.
I don't know of that. Honestly, I don't know of any prostitution.
None?
Or prostitutes that I know. I don't know any prostitutes. I've ran into a couple prostitutes along the way in my life. But I don't know. Actually, I've known a few chicks who have been escorts or do that sort of thing. And I don't know, that's their deal. That's what they do. I mean, it's not like there's pimps out there that you can go to. I mean, there are pimps out there and prostitutes out there and stuff. That's what they do. But that I know of, I don't know any. I don't know that runs, that there's that.
Yeah, I didn't see any pimps down there. It seemed like
there's nothing like that I know of.
Yeah.
Really on the streets and homelessness. Most prostitutes, they make money. They're out there. They got homes. They're making money, dude. They're in a spot. They're in a place and stuff. And that I know of. I mean, they could maybe just their boyfriend, girlfriend, they just met. Who knows? But like that girl who got dropped last night. Maybe it was just a friend who got a ride and stuff. I really don't know.
Yeah, I'm just asking you because I'm kind of curious. I did notice there's a lot of females down there.
There are. I mean, I don't know the ratio of male to female, but well, there's a lot of if there's a female down there, usually they have a boyfriend or they have somebody they'll just hook up with or just click with because they want somebody to look after them. Take care of them, protect them. Just like, a lot of relationships, a lot of men and women are together, and for the most part, it's always like the man's taking care of the woman, or he's just somebody there to protect her, or look out for her. And that's just like natural in womanly instincts and manly instincts is to look for a girl and look for a guy that can like just be on this journey together, some companion, somebody to sleep with and stuff. And there's like, I've kind of came up with the six or seven principles or important things to homeless people. Like number one, I think is probably where am I going to eat? Where am I going to eat? Where am I going to sleep? Or where am I going to eat? Where am I going to get my drugs? Where am I going to eat? Where am I going to sleep? Where am I going to...
Why did you move drugs to number one?
Drugs is one of the things. It's one or two. It's like, how am I going to get high? How am I going to get high? Where am I going to get high? Who am I getting it from? Where do I got to go to get high? Whatever it is. Smoke weed, do heroin, fetty, whatever it is, whatever your addiction is.
It seemed like that was the constant grind down there when I was
it is one of the constant grinds. It's
like people were like
number one or two.
Wanting to get high.
Yep. How am I going to get high? Where am I going to get high? Who can I go to? Where can I get it from? That's I think number one is one of the things. One or two. Where am I going to get high? Where am I going to eat? Where am I going to sleep? Where am I going to go to the bathroom? And how am I going to get clean? Take a shower. That's to me is one of the most important things. Is being clean. Is like being clean, having a place to eat, or being able to eat and be clean, and place to be safe, rest, place to be just somewhere where I can be safe. And I know that I'm not having to worry about people coming and trying to hurt me or take something from me or just something to hurt you. Everybody wants to feel safe. It's what's Maslow's theory of importance, like the hierarchy, like safety, food, shelter, or safety, I guess is in shelter. Security. Yeah. Social, interaction. Those Maslow's hierarchy, the things that are important, the most five, I think they added something to that or something, but those are the most important things. That's what I kind of came up with that thought process of the homeless hierarchy of importance is where am I going to get high, how am I going to get high, where am I going to eat, where am I going to sleep, where am I going to shit, where am I going to freaking shower, and who am I going to fuck? That's like the six main principles.
Sounds like everybody's goals in
pretty
life.
much. It's just like pretty much. Yeah. And how am I going to just keep it going? The repetitiveness. It's like press play, record, rewind, fast forward. Plus, every day it's the same. It's like a grind. It's like regular life.
What do you guys do? So in your situation, I doubt anybody has healthcare, right?
No, there's healthcare. I mean, if you want, there's you can get on Medicaid. You get on Medicaid. There is the
because I know Denver Health used to see a lot of homeless people back in the day.
Stout Street Clinic is like the main place for homeless people. And I thank God for the Stout Street Clinic too, because that's where I get my medication from. Okay, like I'm diabetic. And
so that's got to be really hard being diabetic and being homeless.
Well, it's not really hard because I'm just going to be diabetic no matter if I'm homeless or not. But
getting the medications
Well, no, not really, because I go to Stout Street Clinic. The Homeless Coalition is the Colorado's homeless. Denver's the Homeless Coalition. I thank God for that place, and I think that they are in with the Denver Rescue Mission and that place. Denver Rescue Mission has like 6 or 7. They do a lot for homeless people. I heard this statistic that Colorado is actually 30% homeless. I don't know if that's true or not.
30% homeless?
I heard that from somebody. Somebody told me Colorado is like 30% homeless in Colorado. You don't really think that.
I don't think that number is true.
That's what I heard. But if you think about it, there's a lot of people who are just camping in the mountains. You really don't realize.
Not that many.
I don't know. Look it up, man. Maybe look it up. That's what statistic I heard.
Colorado has to be like 7 million, 8 million-ish now or something like that. And that would mean you have like 2 million homeless people.
Or maybe not that. I don't know. But they told me it was pretty freaking high. Maybe in Denver or I don't know. But it's a pretty high actual ratio compared to some.
I think it's really high. I see a lot of homeless people.
This is from the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless. And it says 18% of adults met the definition of chronically homeless. This COC was formalized in January of 2020. 35.7% of people experiencing homelessness were unsheltered. Okay, so yeah, 18% of adults, which is still super high.
That is crazy.
And then 35% of those are unsheltered.
Okay, so 35% of 18%, but 18% is super high.
Yeah, I mean, how many, if you look at, in Arizona, I don't know if there's as much homelessness. Maybe right now in the winter, there's an influx of people. That's where I'm from.
Why Arizona. Do you think there's so many homeless people? Because
in the world?
No, I guess in the world.
Because the cost of living and greed and money, there's not enough money in people's hands to pay to live in a building. And
there is, Jeremiah knows this. I used to work at Target. I think I mentioned that earlier, and I worked in security, right? So we caught shoplifters or whatever. And I talked to a lot of people who were homeless that
boosters.
Yeah, there was a lot of boosters. And some I can bring up later. We were talking about earlier, but there's a lot of people who I talked to that moved here when weed was legalized. Mm-hmm. And they said
the gold rush. They said the green rush. That's right. Called the green rush.
I had no plan. I just knew that I could come here and I could smoke my weed. So they moved here. They just drove here, didn't have a place to live. And then they were like, oh my God, apartments cost so much money here. And then they just ended up living on the street. Like 20, 30, 40 people I probably talked to that said that. Like it was a lot.
Yeah. The green rush. I remember I moved here in 2008 when the green rush started. Weed was legalized in 2008 or just 2007, 2008. And it was like Colorado was one of the first states.
Is that the first time you were in Colorado?
Yeah, I moved here in 2008. April 1st, 2008.
Okay.
Me and my daughter's mom. I love that woman. I really do, man. I call her the warden. The warden. But we haven't been together for a while. But
my wife is the jury, the judge, the warden.
Yeah,
I love her though. She's great.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, women really run the world. I mean, it really is a woman.
And I need someone like that personally.
Yeah, James Brown. This is a man's world. Yeah, it may be, but women really are control. If mama's not happy, nobody's happy. In the house. But
yeah, God bless them.
Yeah, really, this is what I've heard. I came up with this this thought like. And I believe in intelligent design, or whatever people want to say. Well, I just say this: when God created man, the earth stood still. When God created women, that's when it started spinning. Without, if there was just nothing but men on this planet, dude, I mean,
be a big old
shit. People would be doing nothing but trying to eat
nothing but women. I said women, men.
Yeah, that'd be horrible, man. Nothing would get done. It'd just be a bunch of dudes just trying to take food from each other and beat each other up for more food, right. and just being able to be in charge.
Right.
But with a woman, it's like with women around, it's like, oh, I have to function better. I got to do something. Ever seen that sticker? No pain, no Jane. No pain, no Jane. Like Tarzan and Jane.
Yeah, for sure.
No pain, no Jane. Like if you ain't doing shit, you ain't gonna have no woman. If you ain't working hard or dealing with some struggle or being up, you're not gonna have a woman to. Have and stuff. And that's just kind of like going back to the question of the women on the street. Like there's always women that become homeless and stuff and their homelessness. And they usually try and find a man to protect them and look out for them and just feel safe. And I'm looking for one of those right now, actually. Somebody to make feel safe and have me feel comfortable.
I have a feeling, man, you'll be all right. You'll find one. You got a likable personality, and I'm sure you'll find
I haven't run into
someone
any of
good.
that. Like usually and And then one of the problems I have too is like I don't like illogical like people who like I'm an ENTP. That's my personality type. We make up 5% of the world.
ENTP.
ENTP.
What's that?
You don't know your personality type? It's the Myers-Briggs test.
Yeah, they have the little abbreviation.
Yeah, ENTP.
Yeah.
And if
what does that one stand for though?
Extroverted. I'm really an extroverted person.
Extroverted, intuitive thinking,
perceiving.
And prospecting.
Or prospecting. Yeah, it's kind of changed the words, but
yeah.
We are very. I was before I knew what a personality type was. I was like, what the hell is this about? I remember, and I kind of looked up. You can get online and take a personality test. Like 16 personality types. They say there's 16 personality types basically in the world, and you're all pretty similar. And it'll tell you about what percentage of humankind that you are. Mine only makes up about, at the point I read it, it was about 5% of the world are ENTPs. My daughter's, she's marvelous. She's a 1%er. Her personality type, she has 5 letters that make up her personality. Most people only have 4. Some people have a dash and another one. She has like 5 She has 5 letters that make up her personality type. And she only makes up 1% of the world. Her type personality only is 1% of the world. She's freaking marvelous. And my sons, they're fantastic.
How many kids do you have?
I have 3 kids.
3 kids?
3 kids. But
2 boys and a daughter?
2 boys, an older 24-year-old, a 21-year-old, and an 18-year-old. And the 18-year-old, she just started going to CU pretty recently.
I'm sure you're proud of her.
Oh, I am. I'm proud of all my kids. Like they're marvelous. They're impeccable human beings. I blame their mothers for that. I blame their mothers for that. But no, they're great. I love them. I love my kids. And I found that I was the weakest link in the relationships that I was in. I was the weakest link. I was the one who had the issues. Really, I was really blessed with 3 wonderful women, 3 wonderful mothers for my children, and I love those women for being great mothers to my children. When I drop the ball, or when I fumble, or maybe I wasn't there. I was out DJing or partying or doing something for years. I mean, I've been a DJ for about 28, going on 28, almost 29 years. That's really my thing stuff. But there was a time when I first got married, I was married to a beautiful woman named Vanessa, and I had my son Isaac, and I was a DJ before I met her. I was a DJ. I just started kind of DJing. I'd been DJing for probably like 4 or 5 years. And then as DJ
Doctor Who. Doctor Who.
Yeah, DJ DRWHO, no spaces. Not like, and I chose that name because for one thing,
it's a tight name. I love it.
Well, my name is Julio. I love the show Doctor Who. I really grew up watching that show and I loved it. I would stay up at my cousin's house whenever I go to Phoenix when I was younger. That's when I was introduced to Doctor Who, that show, and I loved it. It was just freaking awesome. Tom Baker is the best Doctor Who for sure, but it's just like British dry sci fiction show. But it's the longest running science fiction show ever in history. They still have Doctor Who, but my name is Julio, and one of my friends had said, "Hey," when we were kind of deciding our names to DJ, because he was kind of starting to get into DJing. I had been DJing. I remember we were on my porch, and he goes, "How about this? I'll be the bad guy in Doctor Who, and you'll be Doctor Who." And I was like, "Hey, that's cool. Yeah, I like that, man." And I really specify it is not spelled out like the show Doctor Who, because it's made to be like I'm a doctor, like I'm an MD. Like DJ.dr.who with a question mark. That's kind of like the way I'd prefer it to be on a flyer. And I tell people I'm an MD, and I'm a doctor. I'm a real doctor. If you got
as you said, Michael, the doctor of music.
The doctor of music.
Yeah, I'm an MD. And I've said that for the longest time. I've tried to use that to hear somebody say, well, what kind of MD are you? What kind of doctor are you? I said, I'm a master DJ. And if you got some ailments or something that's bothering you, you got some sort of sadness or sickness or stress, I got what you need to relieve you from that stress. Just come out to the dance floor. Come out to the dance floor, and you'll feel much better when you leave. It's like give me 2 hours, and I'll send you on a journey that you feel better. You're just like in that place where you're just like happy, free of like all that stuff. But anyways, getting back to where I said I was the weakest link. When I got married, I started DJing. Like I got kind of exposed at a party one time, and somebody heard me DJ, and I mean, I thank God for my talents of DJing. Like it just came down to where it's like, just, I don't know, the mixes just fly out my hands, and they're pretty good, you know, pretty seamless, like seamless, continuous mixing. That's all I'm about. But I started DJing at raves. The first one I DJed was 1999. It was called Droppin' Mo Science. And I played at 5 a.m. I was closing DJ. I played with DJ Micro. He was the main headliner. And I was playing all vinyl at that point. And once I played that set, like, it was badass. And all of a sudden, boom, my DJ career took off. I started playing at all these raves in Arizona for a long time. It was a really good time in my life. Really, really fun time. Really, it was just the limelight. I started playing. I played in front of thousands of people, you know, all kinds of shows and stuff. And I had formed a really good name for myself. But while I was out there doing all that DJing and partying and stuff, my wife is at home with the kids and stuff. And then I'd come home and it'd be dad and stuff like that. But I believe like it took its toll on my marriage for a while. Just all that time away partying and DJing while my wife's at home alone with the kids and stuff. I believe it just took its toll on my marriage, you know, and it was like, that was the weak link in my life at the time with my relationship. Like, that was more important, it seemed, many times than, and even though I was making pretty decent money, I mean, back then I was only making about like $200 an hour for a show. I would get like $200 or something like that. So it was, you know, I was at least doing something, you know, bringing money back and stuff. And at that time in my life, I was also managing a store. I worked for PacSun. Like I'd started, at that store, I started as a third key, and within 5 years I had my own store. That just, you know, the whole DJing and partying and stuff kind of just took its toll on my marriage, and it came to a point to where we just, you know, we'd split up because of just the, you know, my loss of self-control, my loss of, you know, as a man, if you're married, or as a woman, if you're married, you should have the self-control to control your thoughts, your urges. To, if you see somebody, you're married and you see somebody catches their eye, you got to put that shit in check, man. You can't be just like, and you got a wife, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you know. And at one point, I just lost my self-control, man. I just, you know, next thing I know, you know, I was out of the house, and I was like, you know, there's a lot of things that went down in my life that I don't have any regrets for. I don't have any regrets for anything that happened in my life, but I do have some remorse. And maybe I have regrets for a lot of the injuries that I've been through. I can't even believe I'm here, still alive. Like I can't, I mean, to where right now, I mean, being on the street right now, I'm just happy to be here. Like I'm content. I'm still happy, and I'm good. I tell people all the time, like, people, are you good? Man, I'm always good. I'm always good. You know, I strive to be good. I strive to be excellent. I strive to be like a profound, you know, change and place or a catalyst for progression and happiness and, you know, movement forward in people's lives and in my life, to where I strive to be that way. But I'm always good, but I'm not always happy. You know, there's times where I'm like, man, I'm not happy right now. I feel really down or uncomfortable. And like, I'm thinking back when I say that, like at one point in my life, when I was homeless, when I first kind of started homelessness, like on the street, like I had just
keep talking. I'm just gonna move your.
Okay,
can you move it over there?
Yeah.
Just because I don't want it to block your way there.
I basically had just started being homeless. I remember there was an encampment in the Rhino area of right there by the Platte River, across from Salvation Army on 29th and Brighton. That's where the Salvation Army is, right at the crossroads. That's what's called crossroads. There was the tent encampment there. That I remember when I was doing really well in life. I had a brand new car. I mean, when I walked into that car sales place there, probably like, I knew the manager of the place actually, but so he told me to come down and check it out. When I first walked in, these guys were probably like, yeah, this guy, you know, what's this guy gonna do here? Buy a car or whatever? And then when I showed them my check stub, they're like, oh dang, they show me I could pick any car in the freaking lot. I was doing pretty well. And I remember when I had that car, I'd just be driving around Denver and this and that. And I would drive by that area right on Ringsby, around Ringsby Road, around that area, just right there. And I would see all these people camping. And it didn't even dawn on me, these people are homeless. So I'd always be like, what are these people camping right here? This isn't a campsite. You know, what are these people camping in tents right here? Man, I would just drive by. I remember I'd drive by Jesus Saves. What are all these people doing right here? What are all these people just getting in line for? What are these people doing here? What is Jesus Saves? You know, drive by. And then I'd found myself to where I was living with my daughter's mom and her family in $1 million homes and stuff. And I loved being in Golden. I loved that neighborhood I lived in. I mean, growing up, I pretty much was like, grew up in a trailer park. You know, grew up in a double wide. I wasn't actually in a trailer park, but I was near the trailer park area and just in a lower economic area. Just kind of, I would be considered like in Aladdin, the street rat, and she would be like the princess, my daughter's mom. But I lived in Golden for a while, and being in that neighborhood was just, I loved it, man. It was all quiet, peaceful. Everybody picks up the dog poop. Like there's in Golden, there's signs that say, "There's no poop fairy. Pick up after your dog." And there's no poop anywhere. It's just beautiful. I love that area. And there was just a point to where we just weren't getting along, and she had asked her father to ask me to leave. So then I was like, just not really. Yeah, I just kind of was like, no, this isn't real. This isn't happening. And all of a sudden, I didn't have a place to live anymore. And I was like, damn, what am I going to do? At that time, I was working at a Paradise, the shop that I was working at. I was getting double time over 80 hours. I was working 80 hours a week. And then after that, 40 hours, double time. I was making bank, dude. And that's when I actually, at that time, I walked into the dealership, bought a brand new car. And I was doing really well. And I just, at one point, just lost it all. Started downward spiral. It first happened when and I guess the real issue in there, my weakest link was my addiction issues. My addiction. That's what actually kind of started breaking down what was going on in my life, to where I'm doing very well. Had a great job, a brand new car, a place to live. I was renting out sorry, I'm just looking for my Blistex. I had a great place to live. I was renting out a basement, the whole basement of this house. And, I was doing well. And then something happened to where I ended up, there was this one night, a friend had asked me to go help him get a girlfriend of his jewelry back that she had left in this house in Commerce City. And I was just like, yeah, sure, I'll take you guys there. But I first had to go get my wallet. I just met I was talking to this one dude. Somehow I forgot my wallet in his car. And I had to go to Genesee to get it. It was all snowy and icy that night. It was seriously January 19th, 2020, I think it was, or 2019. I had helped him do this. And he goes, because I helped him do that, he gave me some stuff. He gave me some drugs. And I had them. And not really thinking about securing them and hiding them. So they were in my car. That night there was a party I was going to. I went to a party, went to a show. I had talked to, I don't know if we were in the ins or outs with my daughter's mom. Sorry, I'm just...
Did you find what
my lips are really chapped? No,
did you find what you needed? Go ahead, take a second to find what you need, man.
I hope I have it. This white Blistex tube.
Yeah,
the best stuff ever. Like,
do you find it?
No, it's I'm sure I know I have it here, so I'm pretty sure I do.
No worries.
And my lips are just chapped and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
man.
I hope I have it here. If not, I just need to drink more water and stuff. But when I talk a lot, you get dehydrated, you know?
Oh yeah. That's why we have water on hand.
Bam, right here.
There you go.
Just the best stuff. I just don't like my lips get chapped. But anyways, so I remember I was at a party and I called my daughter's mom, and this is the start of the downfall of I'm homeless kind of in a way.
Here, if you need.
Yeah, right there. She was angry that my friend's that was babysitting was a girl. She was actually an escort. I didn't really know that. Her name was Bunny, and
An escort named Bunny.
yeah, an escort named Bunny. She's pretty cool, and my homie Nico, he's pretty cool. And I just went and helped him do it. He said, "Hey, can you take us?" This is a story that's like pretty crazy, actually. I did not know it was going to be like this. I thought I was just going to go stop and drop. Hey, there you go. Here's your jewelry. She had been babysitting at this house, and I guess she had forgot these necklaces there. I don't know why she took them off or what, but she had forgot these necklaces there that supposedly her mom had given her, and her mom had passed away, so they're really important to her. I was like, yeah, I'll take you to get them. They went with me to Genesee to get my wallet back. We go to drive to this house in Commerce City. We get to this house, we pull up, and right as we're pulling up, these two big old like Mexican dudes, like SA looking gangster dudes, pull up. I guess they had known we were coming. They get out the car, and she goes in the house to try and get jewelry and stuff or something like that, or she needs assistance to go into the house. So I'm like, okay. And Nico, he wasn't gonna do anything. He just stay in the car. I was like, all right, I'll help her. We get out. These dudes pull up. One dude's like got a little fifth of whiskey or something in his hand. The other dude's got a machete in his hand, and he's like, "Oh, you want the jewelry? Come on, let's go. Let's get to." And he's like, I start walking to the front door with her with a machete to the back of my head, and I'm like,
He held it to the back.
Yeah, he held it behind me. So come on, let's go. You want it? Let's go inside. And I'm just like, okay. I thought we were just coming to pick up the necklaces. I don't know what the hell's going on, but that was one of the times where I was kind of like, at that time I did have a place to live. I was a little sketched out. I was like, I'm a little worried. You know, I was like,
so is this the beginning of
this is the way it starts. This is how it happens. We go, I help him out. We get that. So we go into this house, and this is like a scene from like a movie to where like it's like a Breaking Bad or some movie like with gangster life and stuff. We go into this house. There's no real furniture in this room. There's a baby crying, running around, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on here and stuff? And it ended up not being too bad, but so she gets the jewelry from some chick. We're walking out, and then that's it. We're walking out, and the dude with the machete still, he's there, and the dude had the vodka's hand freaking punches me in the face, and is like, poosh, and I'm just like, huh, all right. Just woke me up, man. I don't care. I've been through a lot of fights, man. I've gone through initiation into a small little kind of clique gang life sort of thing when I was like 19. I've been through initiation, a beatdown to where like I went through a minute beatdown where it was like 3-on-1 or a circle around us where I was just getting beat up. They're trying to beat me up just to prove I'm down and stuff. So anyways, I was just like, I didn't really cause any trouble because this dude with machetes in there, I just walked out and left.
Yeah, fuck that machete.
Yeah, so we go out. As we're leaving, the dude with the machete starts to try and chase me, and he chops the back of my fucking car, hits the tail light, puts a crack in it. I was like, gosh, damn it, and just drove off. Well,
better in the back of your head.
Yeah, exactly. So we're out of there. We get out of there. And then later go to this party. Nico stayed home. Bunny went with me. And I remember when I was talking to my daughters, I called my daughter's mom, and she goes, she'd heard Bunny there in the background and this and that. So she's like pissed off.
Sure.
So she goes,
you shouldn't be hanging out with no Bunny.
Yeah, with no girl, nothing like that. And then she's pissed off. And Bunny starts kind of mouthing off, saying stuff. I'm like, shh, be quiet. You know, I was just in the car actually trying to solder lights. I was just learning how to solder at that time. And I was trying to make these little freaking lights that I would use when I was dancing. I would just like make these little freaking lights that I would just use on a 9-volt battery, and I'd just use them
like the glove lights. Or
yeah. And so I was in there messing around with this and for so long. And anyways, my girlfriend was like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to Ernie's house. And I was like, what? Oh, I hated this dude.
So
Well, this is how it's happened. This is how it happened. This is the start of how everything happened. So I just left that party, went to Ernie's place. She wasn't there. I was like, what? So I went to her house and I'm knocking on the window and I'm like she lived with her family and stuff. And I'm like telling her blah, blah. She lied. She wasn't there. She's at home. And I was like, let me in. And she's like, no. I was like, come on, let me in. She said, no. And I was pissed off. So I was whatever. So I go to leave. And this was like January 19th. It was icy everywhere. The whole road was like black ice slick everywhere. I don't even know. It was just bad. And I was driving down the street, same way I always go, down Ford and then down Fifth. And somehow my car spun out. And it spun out and got stuck on the sidewalk. And this is where I've had the downfall being cars will always get you in trouble sometimes, especially bad parking. Bad parking screwed me over 2 times. And I've picked up almost 2 felonies from this bad parking. My car spun out and it wouldn't move. I should have just got out the car and left it and just thought, I'll come back to it. Well, I ended up passing out. I woke up to GPD knocking on the window. Hey, man, we're just doing a wellness check, blah, blah. And at that time, my car, it looked like a mad scientist freaking car. I mean, then I had a jack-o'-lantern, a zombie in my car.
you still had those drugs in the car too,
Yeah,
huh?
that's the thing. I still had those drugs in the car.
Yeah.
I basically was told them, I was like, oh, my blood sugar was probably pretty high. I'm diabetic. And they're like, oh, you're diabetic? But you need to go with the EMT because the EMT goes with them to do a wellness check, I guess. You need to go to the EMT and get your blood checked. And I was like,
So they found the drugs, huh?
well, this is the thing. They illegally found the drugs. They searched my car.
They found the drugs,
They did.
right?
They found the drugs.
Yeah.
And so I ended up in jail for 2 months. I couldn't afford. First of all, this is one thing that's fucked up about the system. They impound your car while you're in jail and charge you $48 a day. So while you're in jail, you're missing work, you're missing car payments, you're just not making money. Meanwhile, they're stacking up a bill for you to, you're in jail for 2 months. Oh, well, also here to get your car to impound, it's $2,000, $2,048 to get your car out. It's like, oh, cool. Now how am I going to get to work? I don't have that money. Shit, now I don't even have money for rent. I don't have money to pay my car. I ended up being in debt for 2 months of not paying my car payment, then having the fee of the impound. The car company, I just bought that car. The car company came and took the car out of impound. So they paid the impound fee. And because I was also a little behind on my life started kind of just downward spiraling in general because of the addiction that I started like getting back into. I started using again, just because I've just been an addict for a long time, and I've just always, I've been an addict. Once you're an addict, you're pretty much always an addict. It's alcoholism, addiction.
It's all the same.
Yeah, everybody has a vice of some sort. Everybody's addicted to something.
There's a lot of addicts who are millionaires.
Yeah.
Multi-millionaires.
And then they're probably never going to stop being an addict.
Yep.
Who
aren't even homeless.
Yeah.
But they're addicts.
Yeah, exactly. Addiction and vices everybody has a vice.
There's a lot of blue collar workers who are alcoholics.
Yep.
Well, as much as an addiction is like a chemical need for something, it's also just a mindset, right? Let's say one of the hardest things about quitting smoking is not necessarily getting off the nicotine. It's also the habit of doing something, taking breaks and like relaxing or whatever. You need that in your life.
Yeah. It's just something that happened. Well, what happened is I ended up losing my car, losing my job, and then also like just I don't know. It went to where I was like, before that I'd been asked to leave the house, so I didn't have a place to live. I remember when I worked at the place I was working at, the Paradise, Muir Research, actually. They make water filtration systems out of stainless steel. It's a great company. And I was making a lot of money there. And I could weld, I can arc weld 22 gauge stainless steel sheet metal. That's pretty hard, actually. That's one of the things they do. Everything is stainless there because it's water filtration. Water doesn't rust. I mean, stainless doesn't rust. But I ended up losing that. And then I remember at one point when I was asked to leave the house, I was like, where am I going to live? What the heck? And I remember I used to always go out on my break and just smoke weed, get high. And then when I was back there, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I just freaking camp right here. I just pitched a tent in the back of the shop. And
at work?
Yeah, at the shop at work behind it. Nobody ever went back there. And it's like in Golden, in this one area by the industrial area. And nobody ever went back there. So I was like, let's do it right here. And I was such a hard ass worker. I was the shit there, man.
So you worked full time and lived behind the business you worked at?
For about 3 months, they let me do that. And they didn't even know it at first. And finally, one day, I remember I was working, and Ruben, the quality inspector, came up to me. He goes, hey, Julio, do you know, there's a tent in the back, man? There's a tent back there. And I was like, oh yeah, that's my stuff. He goes, oh, okay. I didn't know who it was. I was going to bring him some coffee. And I was like, oh, well, you can bring me some coffee, you know? And then I was like, Dave, but don't tell him. Don't tell the supervisor and stuff. And so, oh, okay, I won't. Of course, they found out that they called me to the office, and there was this like, Ernesto came, and he's like, you know, like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, I didn't have anywhere to go. I don't have a place to live right now. I got kicked out. And then he was just like, well, at least it'll be on time for overtime. You know, they just let me, because I was, dude, I in that place, I learned some valuable lessons in life about workplace center. You have to learn, and in life, you have to learn how to go with the flow sometimes. You can't just be a gung-ho superhero who just is like, I can do it all by myself. I can do it, and you know, and just start showing off, and just even if you are better than everybody else, you shouldn't just all of a sudden come into a place and just start trying to be the badass and show how much better you are than everybody else, because people don't like it. They're like, whoa, what's this fucking dude's problem? Why is he trying to be all superhero? It's making me look bad. So
one thing that situation teaches me, and I've seen this before, especially with employers. I learned this from my boss. He gets the most out of people that he can, even where I would have thought, man, maybe that guy should have been fired or could have been fired. My boss will be patient, find a way to try to get them on the right track and get the best out of them. Mm-hmm. Because in your story kind of reinforces that. It just shows how everybody goes through things.
Yeah.
And if you can find a way to get the best out of somebody, we can all still roll on together.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. But you got to learn how to like accept that and go with the flow. Yeah. I remember this guy told me, he's like, man, you got to go with the flow. This older guy, Ken, and we started a night crew, and it was just the night crew. There's me, Ken, and this one new kid, and he was a greenhorn welder and stuff. And these guys, once we switched to night crew, this dude just stopped working. It seemed like it. I mean, I'm always busting shit. But one of the reasons this whole job, the crew, the employees didn't like me much is because I would bust my ass I was knocking shit out. Like I was always in the back welding, and I love being in the back welding because I'm pretty much do my own thing. Nobody bothers you. Like don't bother the welders. They're doing their thing. They're welding. Leave them alone. That without us welding, none of this shit would go on. We got to build the frames for the things to go in. There's two sides of the shop. The back side was the welding bays. The front side was the machine shop. I called that the zoo. And these two guys looked like it was like a lot going on, a lot of crazy hard work. And I was like, man, I don't like being up there.
It seemed like you always worked and didn't have a problem working.
No.
It just seems like the drugs.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Are the issue.
Well, it was because I was actually doing a lot of drugs then. I was doing a lot of cocaine at that point. And some of these dudes, they kind of knew, I would just like, one day I went into work and the dude's like, hey, I was like, what do we got to weld? He's like, nothing. And then he goes, Enrique's going to show you something new today. And I was like, huh? Okay. And we start walking to the zoo side, and I'm like, whoa, what are we doing over here, man? Well, what's going on? And they put me on this job spot called the TOWP tubes. And this was a very important part, a key part and role in this whole process. Basically, we were to get a big piece of sheet metal out of the brake, put it on a table, they'd put these holes in this sheet metal. You would pop a tube through it, and then you'd weld 5 welds, and stack it on a pallet. And then that pallet, all those sheets would go into a parallelogram frame, which then would be like 30, 40, 60, 70, however many it took. That's what was the water filtration would go through. They'd be filled with sand. Or I don't know the whole process, how it goes exactly. But
sure.
But the thing is, these guys had learned how to keep they ran a pace in the shop where they all would just be chill. They wouldn't work any harder or faster than they knew they could. So they had formed a pace. So these guys were on average probably maybe taking like 2 to 3 minutes apart. That's like, to me, it's like, what the? I started knocking these bitches out in like 15 to 30 seconds.
Well, you were also high on cocaine, so I'm sure you were. I'm
I was
sure you
gonna
were
say-
flying a little faster than everybody else.
That's how you did so much
It
overtime.
has nothing to do with
I'm
that.
just joking.
It has
Julio.
nothing to do with that. Well,
Julio,
maybe a
I'm just
little
joking.
bit. Okay.
I'm just joking.
But there was some dude. I remember this one dude. He'd see me and he's like, he was just pretend. He was on top of the thing. He's like just kind of looking at me, just going like, whew, like he's like a birdie flying high in the sky. Like he knew. They knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
But they didn't care because I was knocking shit out. Like, remember seeing Ernesto one time when they saw how fast I would operate and work. He was like, "Yes, thank God." And these guys hated it though, because whenever I moved fast, I was knocking this shit out like seriously, like 15 to 30 seconds.
So this is the beginning of your homelessness when you were living behind the shop.
Living behind the shop, and he was okay with it. Like seriously, they were okay with it because I was such a badass worker. I quadrupled their quota. We were knocking these things out.
But at some point, something happened.
Well, what happened was I started kind of slipping. When I started going from cocaine to the next drug of choice, all because of when I got kicked out. It's really crazy how this all happened. The day I was supposed to move out, I remember I was like, how am I gonna freaking move all my shit out, man? I had a bunch of stuff that like about a 1-bedroom apartment worth of my own stuff that I had to get out of my daughter's grandfather's house. And I remember when he went to, he's like, Julio, when I get back from India, you better have all your shit out of my house. And he was always traveling during the summer and stuff, just going all over the world and this and that. And so I remember the day my daughter's mom went to work, she's like, you have to move out today. And I was like, yeah, I know. And so I'm like, fuck, how am I supposed to do this? And luckily, since her dad's gone, she drove her dad's car to work. My daughter was spending at her friend's house. I was on the weekend with the car. Well, she had left her car. She had a Scion XD that she left there. And I was like, wait a minute, I'll just use the Scion and move all my shit to there was a storage place just around the corner. Like seriously, it was like probably less than a mile away. And I was like, hell yeah. So I just started cramming all my stuff in the back of the XD, moved over there, and it was done. Had it moved out. And she comes home, she's like, what'd you do all day? Like I was just laying on the couch, like moved all my shit out. She was just kind of like, whatever. And it was all gone.
So have you been on the streets from that time? You were working at this factory? You pretty much been on the streets?
Pretty much. I remember like, yeah, I'd start to be homeless on the streets. And I remember when I first became homeless, I had a tent. I got a tent. I grabbed a tent from the garage and I was like, where am I going to go? And I remember I'd met this lady in downtown Golden, just out and about, and she was camping right on Clear Creek, right on the edge of Clear Creek. And so I was like, hey, this is cool. It's fucking like I was a kid again, like just being camping right there by the creek.
At least in the beginning, right?
Yeah, in the beginning. It was cool, man. And I really loved it. It was awesome, actually. I had no problem with it. I would just fucking, if I bathed in the fucking creek if I needed to, it was cool to me, I was like, yeah, this is cool. There's certain things I didn't like, but it was all right, and I was like, I can do this. And then I remember I came home one day, and I mean, that's your home. Your tent's your home. Like everybody down on the streets, like, this is my home, my house, there's rules here, blah, blah, blah. I came home and there was a note on my stuff from a sheriff or a park ranger saying, you better have all your stuff out of here within 24 hours or we're going to take it. And so I was like, shit. And that's when I remember I was sitting there on break. I was like, damn, where am I going to camp, man? And that's when I was like, there's camp right here. I set up shop right behind the shop. And I remember it was kind of like not cool at first. And then I was like, wait a minute, it's cold out here. And so I got these big pieces of sheet metal and put them right there next to the tent and it started a fire. And I was like, wait a minute, now this is cool. I'm here freaking, I got no traffic to get to on the way to work. There's a shower in the shop and stuff. And on break, I go back to the back and just chill out, hang out, smoke, and then go back to work. And then things just started kind of breaking down for me because at the one point we got a new supervisor, the old one retired. And then he goes, Julio, we got to do something about the tent, man. You can't keep staying down because they're just getting ready to sell the company. So I remember I met this guy who said at the 7-Eleven, who said I could, I noticed him. I'd noticed his mannerisms, and I saw him. I was like, I saw a relationship in the way that we worked. And I saw how he was moved so fast and stuff. And I was like, this guy is probably, he's suspect, you know. I know what he's up to. So then we ended up talking, and he ended up letting me live with him. And I started just losing control of being my timeliness. I started missing work.
What do you mean suspect?
Suspect, like he was a user too.
Oh, okay.
Like I knew.
See, I told you that's why you guys are working so fast.
Yeah. Going fast, man. Yeah. Well, in a way, yeah. It moves the economy. It moves. I mean, to tell you the truth, really, it really is part of a big piece of the pie in America's economy. It really is.
Unfortunately,
it is. Like if you took a pie graph and put it on paper and showed. We're showing what runs the economy.
What portion of that is drugs?
Is drugs? There is a portion. There's drugs,
and not legal pharmaceutical.
Not legal pharmaceutical. Yeah. Just drugs in general. Yeah, not just drugs. Drug usage, drugs. A lot. There's a big piece of that pie.
Yeah, there's a statistic. I don't remember the exact number, but I'm pretty sure it's over 90% of commercials on television, like local television, whatever, that nobody uses anymore for the most part, are pharmaceutical ads in the U.S. And that's only in the U.S. because it's only us and one other country in the entire world that allow pharmaceutical advertisements.
Yeah, there's a lot of countries that don't allow them, right?
It's only two. It's us, and I can look it up. It's us and like Scotland or Ireland, and it's very limited. It's somewhere in the UK. It's super limited what they can do versus us. Oh, actually, I think it's New Zealand. It's New Zealand.
So I think it's Australia. The Australian Navy will pay. I think it's Australia. Will pay for the women to get breast implants. They're military. They'll pay for women to get breast implants because they feel it boosts their morale and their self-esteem.
Oh, we always need something to make us feel good.
That's just a weird thing I heard.
We're just geared like that as human beings.
Yeah. So anyways, where was I at? So I had this downward spiral to where I was homeless. I was in the back of the shop, like in a tent. And once I started a fire back there, it became cool. I was, damn, this is cool. I got a picture on my Instagram or my Facebook where it shows me with my feet in front of a fire, and nobody can tell what it seems like. I'm in front of a fireplace, but I'm actually out and camping behind the shop. And it's on my Instagram, actually, I think. And it shows me just...
So you're actually homeless in that picture.
Yeah, but you can just see my feet in front of a fire, and it's just me being happy and comfortable.
Looks like Julio's camping.
Yeah, well, no, it doesn't even look that. It looks like all you can see is the fire on my feet. It looks like I'm
chilling.
My feet are in front of a fireplace, like in front of a mantle or something like that. Like I'm in a home, just being relaxed.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how do people stay warm in the winter? But when I was down there, I seen they had those kind of like those propane heater things.
Some people have those. Some people will use just heat. Some people light fires in their tent, and I hate that shit because the guy who I was staying with would light a fire sometimes, and it just gets smoky. And that's smoke.
And if that catches fire, you're going to burn down other tents.
Well, yeah, they'll usually just burn the tent. A fire, it happens periodically from time to time. A tent will catch on fire, and they go up like a Christmas tree, kind of.
Oh yeah,
and they're dangerous. But they usually just start fires or have propane. Yeah, just little fires or little propane heaters. There's actually some tricks you can do, like hand sanitizer. If you give homeless people hand sanitizer, what they use that for is not to hand sanitize, clean their hands. Sometimes they do, but mainly to burn. You put that hand sanitizer in a little dish or a bowl and put some wood or whatever, and it just burns like a little burner.
Yeah, it's the same thing you see in like buffets. They have the little I forget what they call them, little stoves underneath. It's
basically the little kerosene sort of things.
Yeah, it's basically rubbing alcohol soaked in like a piece of cotton or something like that.
Yeah, all it is just they're burning the alcohol. So I actually want to try this. I usually am just layered up. I just have a bunch of clothes and sleeping bags just layered up. Like, I mean, I've been out on the street. When I was first on the street, I've been out in like negative 10 degree temperature, negative degree temperature. And it's just fucking cold, man. And you just got to learn how to figure it out. You know, just figure it out. You're either going to adapt or you're going to die. There's like being in homeless in the summer in Arizona, you learn how to adapt. Usually it's less homelessness in summer in Arizona, but dude, you'll die out there if you don't have water or shade. I would rather be cold than warm any day because you can always layer up.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but if you're in the heat and the sun, you could get naked and still all you do is die. You're just gonna burn and cook under the sun.
Yeah, you can't get rid of heat.
Yeah, you can't.
I've said that plenty of times.
I tell my wife that all the time.
Yeah.
It's cold. Well, put some clothes on. Put some shoes on. Warm up. Layer up.
Yeah.
I mean, you always got to have layers. And
yeah, I seen a guy in the street today, man. I don't know if you noticed that. Did you see the police and the ambulance there on the corner?
on the front, yeah.
There was a guy laying in the street. It wasn't because it was cold or anything, but who knows? I don't know what was going on with that guy.
I don't know. Who knows? There's all kinds of. I always have a ratio in my mind. Whenever I hear sirens, when I'm over the rescue mission, that's where I go to eat, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner usually. I've last couple of days I've kind of just been on since I got kicked out of the shelter where you took me to get my stuff from. I've been on this back in the tents, back on the street, and I kind of comfortable and like it there because there's no rules, there's no regulation. Like at the shelter, you have to be in there by 8 o'clock. You could be 30 seconds late, you're out. Mm-hmm. They take your stuff, bag it up, and they give you 3 days. If you're not there, they'll throw it away.
Yeah,
and that's all. That's my clothes. That's whatever is there. That's my possessions. That's my things. You know. So that's why when I started talking to you, I was like, hey man, is there any way you could take me to possibly check and get my stuff? And that really was like on my mind because you have 3 days, and that yesterday was the last day. They would have thrown it possibly.
You know how many guys asked me for rides somewhere before I met you?
Yeah, I don't know, probably a lot.
But I was talking to you, and you know, it wasn't about that at that point. I wanted to continue to talk to you.
Yeah, man, it's cool. I really appreciate that. It was a big help to me.
Yeah,
I mean, because I would have had to.
I'm glad you got your stuff.
Yeah, man, exactly. And I still got to take it out of those bags and just organize and stuff. But I had just some important things. Just whatever I had in there was my things. It's my clothes. You know, a pair of shoes, just stuff that's like important to me that I needed to get. That they have rules. I mean, they can't just store people's stuff forever. So they give you 3 days to get it, or else they're throwing it away, throwing it in the trash.
So I also want to pull up your DJ stuff, man.
Okay,
cool.
cool.
I found it very interesting. I got lucky in meeting you. I've been looking for somebody to come on the podcast and talk about homelessness and living on the streets and just get that different perspective, because that's kind of our motto at the Our World podcast. We want to talk to everybody. That's kind of our thing. And I mean, I didn't even know when I started talking to you that you had DJed in the past. You had stuff uploaded to SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And you told me about it. You told me what to search. I searched it. I was just like, wow. And I actually didn't even search this until you and I were driving here tonight to do the podcast. I looked it up, and it's the first time I seen it.
Yeah, I've been a DJ. Like I'm a professional status DJ. Like I drop it. Like it's hot, and you know. And if you hear my stuff, you hear my music. Like it's on point. My mixing is pretty much on point. It's seamless for the most part. I don't really make mistakes very much. I think actually pretty recently I was actually living in a art gallery / after hours nightclub. I made my first mistake, like first train wreck in probably years.
Is that downtown?
Yeah, downtown town. There's this place downtown.
Yeah, so I met those people the other day. Yeah, Adam DJ's there. A guy named Adam something, and I met the guy who owns the.
Where is it? Where is it at?
It's I think it's on the corner of like Broadway and something.
No, well, there's a couple of different after hours places, but that's not the one I was at. I was at this place called the Salon. And that's by design. Actually, it's called By Design, and it used to be a salon. And so I was there, and I remember I actually was playing, and I don't know what the heck happened. I was just like, I was playing. I don't know. I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? I train wrecked, and that's like seriously. A train wreck is when you're like playing.
So you've been DJing recently?
Yeah, I was DJing there like at least like not Well, yeah, pretty recently. And that's why I moved back to Denver to get back into the DJ scene.
So you were homeless, living on the streets, and then go pick up a gig.
Well, no, I lived there. They let me start living there because I had met the owner. I first went to this place in the summer when I was staying at the shelter, and I went in there and I was like, man, I like this place. It makes me feel like at home. I could dance, and like I love dancing. I started going to raves in like 1994. I started DJing in like 95, 96. And I still have not stopped dancing. Like I could burn a hole I could cut a rug. So where you want a hole? You want one right there? There? Where you want that hole? Like in the concrete, I'll drill right down there. Like I love dancing. Like I've just been dancing and DJing for a long part of my life. And like really professional status DJ. I've played at raves. I've promoted at clubs. I've thrown my own little desert parties and stuff.
I remember during that era when I used to go to raves, there was a DJ that we knew. His name was like DJ Tribe or something.
Yeah. Tribal Touch or something.
Tribal Touch.
Yeah, Tribal. I know Tribal Touch. He actually plays for the Phoenix Suns now.
Oh,
He's
does
a
he?
DJ for the Phoenix Suns. Yeah,
Wow.
or the Denver Nuggets. I don't know if it's the Nuggets or the Suns. DJ Tribal Touch. Yeah, I know that dude. I met him. He's a Native American DJ. There's just a lot of DJs around the world, man. That just like Bad Boy Bill is my biggest like. If I had a mentor, I'd be his protege. Like that Bad Boy Bill, that's how I have tried to mimic my mixing. When I first started DJing, breakbeat was my favorite genre. And that's just like broken beats, like boom, 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 something like that. That's broken beats. It's not like a house beat, like a steady 4-beat or 8-beat, like that's like a house beat. Breakbeat is like just a little bit like drum and bass, jungle. Those are like breakbeats, kind of like. I started kind of like liking breakbeat. That was my first passion, was breakbeat. And then I would go to my friend Andy's house all the time. He'd be playing Bad Boy Bill, Banging the Box 2, 3, Richard Humphrey Vision. And we'd just be getting high, smoking weed. And I started liking this house music, Bad Boy Bill. And listening to Bad Boy Bill, his shit is badass, seamless, like just bouncing, banging like house music, and just goes seamlessly into the next one. That's how I model my mixing. And really, I could play alongside with Bad Boy Bill now. Like I could play alongside any of these big DJs and do just fine, and just play 2x4 with them. I can bang with the best of them, man.
Let's listen to some of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's really, that's my
Mike has it
passion.
pulled up.
That's my biggest passion. Oh, this is a cool mix.
Can you turn it up?
Turn it up. I'm always like louder. This is cool right here. It's mixing right now. 2 songs. Yes. Now it's in. And then I'll spin back, wind back. That's cool. Now it's completely in. This song is called Gangsterdam. Yeah, Gangsterdam. I don't remember who it's by, but it's pretty cool. Watch. So I spin out of it now. The other song, spin it out. Right here. Right.
This right there. Old fucking Gangsterdam. I think we should get down to it.
Now it's mixed.
Nice. That's good, Mike.
Yeah, this song is badass though. He says, this record is so fucking Gangsterdam, I think we should get down to it. And then it just starts pounding in. It's a badass mix. Yeah, I recorded that mix about 8 years. It shows in my SoundCloud about 8 years ago. So that would make it, was 2023?
Yeah, it just says 8 years.
Yeah, 8 years. I mean, I don't know exactly. Might have been 9 years ago when I actually established that SoundCloud. That was my first SoundCloud mix that I'd made or put
There's
up.
several other ones.
Yeah, there's I got about like 4 or 5 mixes on there.
I see one. It says it went up 8 months ago.
Yeah, which one's that?
Cartridge.
Oh no, that. Let me see. Go back to the picture.
I'll pull it up for you. This one.
Oh no, that's actually. Oh no, those are. That's a playlist right there. Those are not my mix.
Gotcha.
Those are. If you have a mix that's on one of my playlists, I have like 13 volumes of sick mixes by other peeps, and those are based. If one of your mixes is on my sick mixes by other peeps, you're a good DJ. I don't know how you did it. If you used the program, or if it's a program set, like none of my sets have ever been set listed. I don't practice any of them except for one on there. The 15 Minutes of Fame competition is the only mix I've ever set listed. It was for a competition. I was told I came in about 9th place out of 263 DJs. And the winner of that got to spin at Decadence. Every year they have a Decadence, which is coming up to New Year's. And that's the only set I've ever practiced. I took about 2 weeks or so to practice it. I wrote a set list down. And the whole thing is that really sucks is the night of the show, it was all rainy and stuff. I drove down to the church. I forgot the set list at home. And I was like, oh, man, really? I mean, but I didn't really need to. I already knew what I was going to do. And that is they're all, like, any one of my mixes up there that's my mix is, on a scale of 1 to 100, at least 95% or better. Like I don't put anything up that's going to be crappy. Like all my mixes on there are badass. Like
Pull up those other couple of pictures real quick.
Yeah, and there's my son. I got my son beatboxing on there, like recordings of my son beatboxing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was always trying to encourage Isaac because I taught him how to beatbox when he was like about 6 or 7, just really young, and he took that to the next level.
So that's you right there,
yeah,
DJing.
That's me DJing. Actually, that was actually for. I was DJing for Red Rocks Church. They were contracting me to DJ for all their youth programs. That's actually DJing at a program for the church. But I played like mad raves, mad shows, man, clubs, like desert parties, like freaking mountain parties.
Show the other one, because you said you were a welder also, and you fabricated your own DJ stand.
Yeah, that I built that. That is a Gabzion Gabzion stand. Gabzion is just this name that I came up with for my fabrication company. And because it's Gabzion, Gabriel is, I had a son that passed away. It's
okay, man.
Yeah. Well,
so you named it after him?
Yeah. Well, I took Gabriel and then Xeon, because Xeon was this company that, so we were working for this welding shop the place that I built this at. I taught myself how to TIG weld. That's all aluminum, and it's TIG welded. I taught myself how to TIG weld on that project because they would let me just stay after work and TIG weld. So I was thinking about a name for the company, and so I combined Gabriel and just Xeon because it sounded like futuristic. So that's a Gabzion Fabrication was my company that I wanted to name these stands for. And I learned actually how to weld. Yeah, that's it with my my equipment in it. That right there, I miss that stuff.
Yeah, what'd you tell me when you asked me if I played chess?
Oh, I said, I didn't ask you. I said, I'll tell you if you know how to play chess. I said, oh, you play chess? Or chessboard right here? I said, shit, I'll tell you if you know how to play chess.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I love chess, man. Like chess.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. I love chess. Nobody at my job plays chess.
Really?
We have a chessboard in the break room, and nobody plays. There's like a couple people that they're just kind of like beginners, but nobody plays. So I kind of the board just sits there. Nobody uses it.
Yeah, I love chess, man. Like, my dad taught me how to play chess when I was young, and he passed away about 10 years ago. And I remember when he passed away, like I just was like just going through this thing to where it became a problem to where I was just like addicted to playing chess because I don't know, that's all I would do. I remember I was staying at my friend Lana's house, the one who let me DJ all night. When I recorded that mix, the Live at Room 300, I was actually at my house in the basement. I tried to record that mix on purpose in the morning, so I had a barbecue, and we had some people came over and recorded a set. It didn't go off very well. My crew that was part of that night, Outbreak Music, was having a show at Diamond Cabaret, and then it got broke up or something. Something happened, and then I was like, "Hey, well, I got all this shit stuff at my house. We can go there." And then I recorded that set, and it went off, dude. That's just a badass set. And SoundCloud actually cut off the first little part. The original set has Johnny Cash, a little song from Johnny Cash in it. They made me cut that off because it's copyright infringement. So I cut that off and put that up. But it was such a good night, and it's just a badass set, and it was just so fun. But that really is my heart, my life, my lifestyle, my passion, is my dream. Is to still just travel the world and just play sets like for people and watch them just enjoy themselves and just dance and just feel at ease and peaceful, and just send them on a journey with my mixing and just my music, and just help them to just release and just feel good and be happy and just dance and smile and have fun. And that's really my passion and my dream. That's why I moved back here to Denver. Aside from wanting to see my daughter graduate, was to get back into the DJ scene here, because Denver is like a mecca for producers and music in the underground scene. I believe there are so many producers and so much going on that comes out of Denver, that I wanted to come back here and be a part of it. I moved to Tucson, back to Tucson in 2021, and I used to DJ there. I'm pretty much known by a lot of people in Tucson. I remember at one point people say, "Dude, this guy, like I helped a lot of DJs like out to spin that first show at clubs I was DJing at, promoting. I won a DJ contest down there to where I was promoting at 2 clubs just down the street from each other. I was at Sharks nightclub. On Sundays, I would do Any Given Sunday, which I started with my homie, Uncle Jess. What's up, Uncle Jess, if you're out there? Then I would do Any Given Sunday, and then Skinful Tuesdays, and then Live Wednesdays. I would promote all 3 nights at the Sharks nightclub. And then I won a DJ contest down the street at Heart 5. I had won a DJ contest, so I won a residency there. So that became my night too. So I was doing 2 different clubs, and I would book DJs and have them come play for me. So I became a profound person in the city, helping DJs start out. And I would always give DJs a chance to play. I said, yeah, you want to come down and play? You know, I'd hear their people would give me demos all the time. I'd say, yeah, it's good. Come play. Come play, man. And so some people have told me, I remember this one party, and this chick was talking, this one dude was talking to me. He's like, dude, this dude's like the godfather of fucking here. Like he was like this guy's like the godfather here, you know? And just, I just know him for just like helping some, just being profound there. And when I moved back to Tucson, I just felt like I was slowly receding back into the earth. I was living in a real rural area with my older sister. I was off the street. I had a good place to live and stuff, and I had my own room with air conditioning and stuff, and it was cool. But I mean, there was a period of time I didn't even leave the house for 5 months, and that really was breaking me down because I was losing. I had a void. That void in my life was being formed. That chasm of me not being on the dance floor, not being around people, not dancing, not being part of my passion, my scene, what I really love, and what my life is really, what I want it to be about is just DJing still and just playing music and helping people just have fun and be happy, you know, like, and that's like my attitude in life. Like even on the street, like I'm trying to be I'm trying to make an impact and be a catalyst for improvement, for progression, for happiness, for
I see that in you. And from these stories you're telling us about your work history, it seems like you really dedicate yourself when you're at work.
Yes,
you've obviously proven to us your skills on your DJ skills, and you've been in the industry for a long time.
Yeah, and
then when I met you downtown on the streets, you had that same energy.
Yeah, I was like, I thought you were, when I first saw you, I walked up to you, you were next to some people who were starting to pitch a tent.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I mean, I didn't have a problem with them doing that. In a way, I was like, who's coming up here?
But what I'm saying with all of that, you have so much, you know, people say this word, they throw around this word a lot. They said it to me when I was a fuck up when I was younger. They said, oh, you have so much potential. But with you, I wouldn't even call it potential. I would call it talent. I mean, you know what I mean? And you can weld.
I'm a journeyman welder, man. I can.
Well, TIG welding's not the easiest welding.
No, I can TIG, aluminum, stainless, and 1G, if you can, and 2G, 3G, 4G, up your skirt, G.
And TIG welding's not the easiest either.
So I can roll dimes, man. I can stack dimes, man.
Yeah. So what's keeping you from getting off the streets, going back to you have all the skills?
Well,
to do everything.
Honestly, right now.
You could do anything right now.
Yeah, I mean,
you could get a full-time job. You could be DJing on the side, and you could just be rolling, man.
Yeah, I mean, I could. Right now, honestly, like, I haven't, I mean, aside from the issues that I have, you know, the issues that I have with the addiction and stuff like that, it doesn't really alter my, like, I don't get fucked off to where I'm like, fuck it. I'm just like, you know, I've been diagnosed with ADHD and just PTSD.
I've seen people that get fucked off from doing drugs.
Yeah,
there's plenty of them down there around you.
Yeah,
where you lived right now.
Yeah,
but it almost seems like you focus.
Yeah, I do. I get really, I get acutely focused on things, and I'm trying to like make a difference, be a catalyst for change. Like, but on my birthday, which is just 2 days ago, all I did on my birthday was, because I had planned to clean up. I gotta get so sick of the way all the trash and it looks disgusting. It pisses me off. And I've done it before to where I go into a little encampment spot and I'm like, what the fuck? This is horrible. I'm gonna clean this shit up, man. And people have heard me say that and they're like, yeah, whatever. And I'll be sitting there just chilling, smoking weed or getting high or whatever. And then all of a sudden I'm like, all right, it's time to work. Boom. And I just start like cleaning up the fucking spot, like cleaning it up and just picking trash up, throwing it, just getting it, throwing it in a dumpster. There should be more dumpsters around the city. If they want there to be less trash stuff, they need to have more big dumpsters that people can just go dump trash in.
Yeah, but Julio, forget about that trash.
Yeah, what?
Forget about that trash down there.
I can't stand it, dude. So
No. That's not where I'm going with this. Yeah. I think that you can do anything you want. If you can work on your drug addictions, you're lucky. A lot of people down there, they have mental health issues. There's no way they're going to get out of that. They're too whacked out on drugs on that level. They're gone. There's no rebounding from that. It's very, very hard once you get to a certain point.
Yeah.
You're not like them yet.
No, I don't think I ever will be. I won't let myself be. Because I know I have a legacy to form still. I have a legacy beneath me and behind, like in front of me that I've yet to build.
Yeah, you have a legacy behind you.
Yes.
And you could have a bigger legacy in front of you still.
I'd say I plan on it. I mean, right now I'm just where I'm at. It's just a season in my life to where I don't have I don't have an ID. They make it kind of very difficult to get an ID. And I don't know if it's in like
you need help getting an ID. I'll help you get an ID, man.
I kind of do in a way. I need to get I need to have my mom send me back my birth certificate and social security card, and I need to just go down.
Where's she at right now? In Arizona.
My mom is in Arizona.
Okay.
She had sent my stuff down to my daughter's mom.
Well, let's see what I can do to help you get in touch with her and get your stuff
I just need to have a place that
you can request your own stuff from Arizona too.
Yeah,
I was born in Arizona. I was born in Tucson. I had to request another birth certificate. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, I can do that. So I just need to
you do have to have a place. We talked about this earlier, though. You do have to have a physical address to get it shipped to, and that's like the number one problem with people on the street not being able to get jobs is there's no address.
I can help you with that. Let's talk off the podcast. But
that's one of the things that's stopping me right now is I don't have a social security card. I don't have a driver's license. Mm-hmm. I don't have my birth certificate right now. I had that stuff I have it in Tucson. I had my driver's license here, but I lost it in the summer, and I just haven't been able to.
But we'll talk about that.
Yeah, well,
I don't want to bore people with our conversations about birth certificates.
Well, that's one of the things that's honestly kind of holding me back.
Yeah,
I mean, and then the fact that I don't work well in big, like I would like to get back to welding and stuff. If I had my place to weld and build it, like I got a lot of ideas. I seriously have like 60 or 70 patentable ideas journaled down in my journal, which I have in my bag. I keep that journal protected because I've got some patentable ideas in there. I've got all kinds of ideas. I look at a problem, I look at things, I'm like, I can build that, I can make that, I can fix that, or why is that like that? What's going on? Like, I have a really ingenuitive mind and brain. Like I looked it up because I was like, what's wrong with my mind? Why is it always like I'm always thinking about stuff? And I looked it up, and I'm what you would call an idea magnet. Like some people, I've asked people, you got any ideas? They're like, what do you mean? You got any ideas or anything or anything that you would serve or something you could make or invent?
Yeah, weren't you telling Michael you had a lot of ideas for patents?
Yeah, I do. Like in my journal, at least 60 or 70 patentable ideas. I have journaled down that I could go back to them and then draw a blueprint out and draw the functionality of it or what it is or how. Dude, I'm honestly constantly thinking.
I mean, you've proven you can do that. We looked at your DJ stand that you made.
Yeah, I made.
You imagined that? You made it.
Yeah,
you have the skills.
There's no blueprint for that. I just made that out of my mind and taught myself how to TIG weld. And at the beginning of it, I could show you on that stand at the beginning where I started TIG welding, and at the end how it looks like just stacked rolled dimes. And that's out of all out of aluminum. I used to work at this place called GBC, the GBC Inc. And I remember when I first worked there, there was these guys, Joe and Tukey. They were called they're like the best welders who work on the stainless steel. They would make ion tech stuff for ion tech, and they would make these big old vacuum chambers that were used for polarizing like lenses, like Oakley lenses. They get put in a vacuum chamber and they're polarized by gases, all these things. They would make these big old welding chambers, these vacuum chambers. And so Tukey would always be like, it's funny, I could just still picture Tukey right now with his cup of coffee just bouncing around. And you'd always be like, huh? And I remember saying, you dumb welders, you young guys don't know anything. You come to GBCU DVC University, you don't know shit, and then we teach you how to weld. And that's kind of true. I didn't really know. I just do wire feed, stick welding. I went to Pima College in Tucson, Arizona, to learn how to weld. Joe Revere, he's a pretty good guy. And I remember he used to use my welds as a instruction to show the class how to weld. Like I was like the teacher's pet kind of way. I didn't like it, but I'm a good welder. I could do that well. I could teach people how to weld. But I look at anything else, I could build that. I could make that. But the thing that's kind of holding me back is just I have an issue with like working in big outfits. Like when I worked at the Muir Research, the guys, I ended up getting fired basically because I didn't fit in. I didn't go with the flow. Sure, I was knocking shit out, but everybody else was unhappy because when I moved that fast, they had to move that fast, and they didn't like it. Like the guy in Vienna, I remember one time, he was always telling me, he's like, Julio, go take a shit. Go get at it. Go take a break or something. Go at it. Go take 15, 20 minutes and just go hide. Go do something. Because
start thinking about those things, right? Because these are things that you've experienced.
Yeah, like I was just working too fast for everybody else, and so they would have to work harder.
Maybe look at the things that kind of make you stick out like that, and see how you can normally acclimate yourself, to things a little more. Maybe try to cut down on the drugs a little bit, and just because these are the things that are going to get you to take those steps in the direction where you can actually hold the job.
Well, see, I still will defend the drugs I use, but because like honestly, it kind of I basically am self-medicating. Yeah. If I was to, like, I've even talked to the Stout Street Clinic, which is run by the Homeless Coalition. They have great health care, great thing, but they will not prescribe Adderall or Ritalin because of the potential addiction things. So I've talked to him and said, I would like to see about maybe getting on Adderall or Ritalin to help with, so I could stop doing my own self-medicating, so I could get off.
If you got a job and you got health insurance through your job, then you can probably get on those.
Yeah, I could do that then. Yeah, I could do that. That'd be great. Yeah, I have no problem with that. But then I still have to, I have issues with like just other lazy employees, laziness, and the work ethic that is like rampant in the United States. And I remember telling people like, I've worked at several shops, and I remember this one time, Al, he would come up to me and he was just like, "Why do you work like that, man? Why do you work like that? Like, why am I such a machine?" Like I tell people, like I'm part Android. I operate like a machine.
Forgive me, Julio. I like you. I've only known you it's been a day now almost. Not even a full day. I met you last night, probably about 8:30.
Yeah.
And it's only 7:30 now, so I haven't even known you a full day. You're a likable guy. And forgive me, man. I'm not trying to intrude and tell you what you should or shouldn't do. It's not my intention. I see people and I want the best for them.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel too, man.
So
I want the best for I would like to see progression in everybody's lives, and I would like to see people. Anything I could do to help you, anybody. I always tell people, just fucking ask me anything. You need something? If I got it, you got it. If your family or even if I don't know you.
Yeah, you told me that last night when I met you.
Yeah.
You told me that.
Yeah, if you need anything from me, just ask me. If I got it, you got it.
Yeah.
If there is,
if you can provide it.
Yeah, or if I can provide it, or if I like you, if I don't think you're an asshole. If I don't think you're a dick. That's just because everybody's an asshole sometimes, but some people are dicks. Like a dick is somebody who's like purposely trying to be a dick and like trying to fuck you over or make sure get one up on you.
This old man told me the other night, because I was in King Supers and this guy he cut me in line, and I was like, man, what's going on? But he thought he was just going to grab something and he didn't want to interrupt me, and it was a miscommunication. I told him, I said, my bad, man. I just thought you were one of those, how some people are assholes.
Yeah, he's cutting a line.
And he told me, he said, you know what an asshole is? He said, when you're on the road and there's that one lane that's the lane that's going to merge. It's the asshole is the guy that comes a mile back and goes down that lane and merges in the front. He says, that's an asshole. And then he walked away. And I was thinking to myself, do I ever do that?
I just think that's good. Like, I don't know. just offensive driving. You're just trying to like,
Yeah, I like to
get where you need to go.
enter a highway with speed is what I like to do.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you gotta just go fast because
No, I'm not talking about a highway. I'm talking about like if you got 2 lanes on a road and one's going to merge and there's that, it's going on for like a half.
Oh, yeah.
And they're coming in, and they're just going as far as they can, as fast as they can, and then they
get
just,
in. Yeah.
and then they get to the point where they have to stop, and then they're waiting for somebody to let them in.
Yeah.
But I guess I'd be kind of one of those guys when it
Yeah.
comes to
Well,
driving.
Julio, thank you so much, man, for coming. This was an amazing conversation.
Right
and
on,
I
man.
couldn't have found a better person to talk to from the people that are downtown right now, are homeless on the streets. In my opinion, I was just amazed to see your background and your resume as a person. It's just phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
I think you
Thanks,
just
man.
the addiction got you.
Well, you know that, and then right now I feel like I'm there for a reason, and when I'm there for a season, and when it's my time to go, I will go, and when it's my time to leave there, I'll be free from where I'm at right now. Like I'm not in prison there. I'm there kind of like still by choice, because honestly, I mean, maybe there's a place I could be. I'd rather be not on the street. I'd rather have a place to be.
I don't think anybody wants to be.
No, nobody really wants to be there, but because I would love to have a place to cook and eat my own food. Like I'm diabetic. Like I'm a diabetic, and I really need to be able to cook and eat healthy food so I can see my
And just
my
have
children.
everybody
Yeah,
wants a place
yeah.
to call their own, where they
Exactly.
can have security, have their stuff safe, where it doesn't get stolen. Maybe have a relationship with somebody,
Yeah,
another
yeah.
person to have companionship with.
Yeah.
All the above, man.
Yeah, just be at peace. Be
Yeah. Well,
comfortable.
I hope you get that, man.
Yeah,
I do.
You know what? I believe
do.
I will. But right now, while I'm there, I try and help people. Like I try and just be a help to everybody around me. Like I spent my birthday cleaning up that whole block. That's why I was like, when I saw you, I thought you were trying to pitch a tent right there, and I was like, whoa, what's going on here, man? Is this your trash right here?
You better file an application with Julio.
Yeah, because I seriously spent all day on my birthday
Yeah.
cleaning that block up. I was to the point to where I was cleaning the cracks and crevices, because sure, I was sweeping it and cleaning it up, but then I looked down in the cracks, there's all this like little, looks like confetti or paper or trash. I was like, oh man, I cleaned all the cracks and crevices, cleaned that shit.
Yeah, you showed
spotless.
me. He cleaned the cracks in the sidewalk.
Yeah, I just went and got like a stick and just.
Well, you had a lot of energy. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
well, and then Thomas helped me. This guy named Joker helped me, and then Matt at the end he started to help me. But
Yeah, I noticed you kind of lead the other guys down there.
yeah, I was trying to, you know, and there's no really not a leader in that area, but I will.
If there is a leader down there, it's you.
Well, I don't plan to be that.
At least with your group of friends.
Yeah, I want to.
You're like the big brother.
Yeah, I want to actually start. I was thinking of actually trying. I still want to. I was talking about. I want to start a something, just a volunteer or nonprofit thing or something called Corner to Corner, where I will go. Dude, give me 5, 6. Give me. I bet you within all the corners that all this trash and homelessness is in or has been in Denver. Give me 5 weeks, 6 weeks. If I have the proper tools or equipment, I could clean this whole city up. No problem.
Well,
like that.
The tents will still be there, right?
Well, no, they may or may not be. Or even if they are, I will go clean them up.
Yeah.
and that's just my heart, my passion, is just like clean it up.
I know you got your
keep it
block.
clean.
Your block, you keep.
Oh,
it clean.
yeah, well, I'm going to. Like yesterday, I was supposed to do it, but I kind of slept.
Man, I stepped in human poop last
Oh
night.
no, you did it. You almost
You
did.
told me that.
No, I
You
stepped
did
in
it.
it.
No,
No. So when I got in my car, I smelled it was on my shoe. I had to clean it today. So I got just the edge of it. But then you saved me from
I saw you. I was like, yeah, watch out, because I told you.
right
you
on
were
the
paying
sidewalk, man.
attention. Yeah, it's disgusting. I don't know if that's dog shit or people shit.
No,
But this one dude.
that was not dog shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the disgustingness that I hate that. And I caught some dude when I was cleaning the block. I caught some dude. I call him a Sasquatch dude. He looks like he's a big dude. He looks like
I seen
Bigfoot,
him.
man.
He pointed him
Yeah,
out to me.
Yeah, I was like, I caught him just right in the broad daylight. Took his pants out and shit and pissed right. And I was like, what the fuck, bro? And I yelled at him. I said, dude, you better pick that shit up right now before I get the shovel and scoop it. I'll throw it right back in your face. I made him pick it up, and so he did. And I kept doing my thing. And later I came back to it, and he had just left the bag there on the ground. And I was like, that's just as bad as the people who pick up the dog poop and leave the bag right there on the ground. I'm like, why did you just throw it
It
away?
is.
Well, so and
For
I was
sure.
like, I was yelling at, if I find that motherfucker, I'm gonna fuck it. And so when I saw him later, I said, you better go pick that shit up right now and throw it in that freaking dumpster. I'm gonna pick it up and throw it right at you. And he did. He picked it up, went and threw it away. And I saw that shit that you stepped on. Maybe it was him or whatever. Whoever it is, I told him,
That
dude.
motherfucker.
Yeah, I will. If I see piss or shit outside of your tent, I will
Yeah.
throw that right back in your tent. but it's disgusting, you know. I mean,
Well, hey man, we're gonna wrap this up,
All
but
right.
I don't want to end it. I don't want to end it talking about Sasquatch's shit.
Yeah.
So, man, what is something that you what's something you want to leave people with, man? After this conversation, just give people a thought.
I would say, don't disregard anybody, regardless of their status or how they dress or how they look. You know, if they're in a car or on the street or they're in a house or you know, in a home or don't have a home, don't disregard them just because they look like you wouldn't want to talk to them, because they smell like they look dirty, they look unclean, and they look like trash. You know, don't disregard people just because some people have some people have the biggest hearts in the world, and they're just in a bad place, or they're just, you know, happenstance or chance happen. You know, it's like, are you here by happenstance or chance? Like, are you here by your choice, or something happened all of a sudden you had everything, all of a sudden now you're on the street and you're just going through something. Don't disregard anybody, because you never know what you can learn from a kid even, or from an old person, from anybody. Don't disregard anybody just because you have a stigmatism or a prejudice that you have in your mind against homeless people or anybody. Give people a chance, you know, because
Absolutely.
you know, you could make a big dent in your life, in the sadness, or somebody else's life in the sadness or negativity. I would always say this to my kids: be an encouragement, not a discouragement. And that's it.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, people are going to be in that situation no matter what, so don't make it worse on them.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to fix it by yelling at them or being disrespectful.
Yeah, man.
So, man, your stuff is up on SoundCloud right now.
Yeah,
It's legit, man. I listened to some of it on we bumped it in the Forerunner on the way here.
Yeah.
It's legit. It's legit, man. So, where can people look that up and listen to your stuff?
On SoundCloud.com, www.soundcloud.com. SoundCloud.
Well, just your name. What name are they looking for?
DJ Dr. Who, no spaces. DJ DRWHO, no spaces.
DJ
Dr. Who.
Doctor Who, no spaces.
Yeah. So it's SoundCloud.com/DJ Dr. Who.
We'll link that too, so people can just click.
Yeah,
on
we'll
it.
put it in the link of the video, man.
Yeah, and I got an Instagram.
Yeah, what is that?
It's just DJ.Dr. Who on Instagram.
With the dots in between DJ
Yeah, with the dots
and
in
doctor.
between.
We'll link that as well for you.
And then I actually have a YouTube. I'm trying to start I also have another a new SoundCloud that I'm starting, which is like more of my new tastes and my new producers that I'm following. It's just called Julio WHOLEO Who, and then DJ Doctor Who. So it's Julio Who, DJ Doctor Who. That's a new SoundCloud I'm starting. But I have a YouTube. I have a little bit of a YouTube channel that I call Julio Who, and that's just like my visual arts, where I don't know, it's just me making like.
Okay, we'll link that as well.
Yeah, music, little videos and stuff, and like
we'll link that as well.
Yeah, lasers and stuff, and
yeah, I seen some of that. You showed us some of those pictures.
Yeah, I don't know. I call myself a visionary confectionist. You know, like I'm all about eye candy. You know, when you go to a party, when you used to go to Raves, it's all about the eye candy. When you go to a spot and it's just like boring. I mean, maybe there's a warehouse and there's some music, but if it's like, man, these producers these guys throwing this party did no effort in trying to make it look cool and be cool.
Sure.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's it. It's SoundCloud.com/DJ Doctor Who. YouTube is Julio Who, just straight up Julio Who, no spaces. And Instagram is DJ.Doctor. Yeah, if you put the links up, that's cool.
We will. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really trying to get back into seeking. I would like to seek management for my DJing, because it's hard to promote yourself as a DJ. I mean, you can kind of do it, but I mean, I got so much going on in my life and in my mind that's really where I'd like to be.
We'll talk, man. We'll talk. I know a lot of people at the clubs and stuff. I know some people that go there. I don't go there. I try to stay away from the scene, but I know some other people who know some other people, and we'll see if there's some opportunities there. But you definitely, the drugs is a big deal. Well, actually, I think in those scenes, everybody's on drugs. But
yeah, it's just being in control and just honestly, just balance more.
Yeah.
Trying to live with balance, because whether I'm self-medicating or I get to the point where I'm just prescription medication, I have some sort of need for like a level of balance, being balanced. And that's why a lot of people do drugs, because some of them just do them because for this or that reason, but I self-medicate just to stay sort of balanced and just mellow, and like my thought process, like I move. Like I tell people I'm like a machine. Like my process is like a machine.
Well, that's one thing, right? But when you're in the situation you're in, and you're putting yourself in a lot of dangerous situations.
There are dangerous
being
situations.
homeless. There's risks to your health. There's all these things. That's where,
I'd like to get out of it.
Yeah,
I really would.
That's where I would try to,
Yeah, I really would rather be.
I just want to put the focus back on that a little bit, because it's easy to say and justify what you're doing, but then you're also, it doesn't really.
It's not very healthy.
It doesn't really even out.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's why I would like to have more balance in my life and be more efficient and effective on helping society around me just progress. I mean, it's all about community and love and just, trying to make people smile, trying to make people laugh. I've got all these aspirations and thoughts and dreams. Like, I didn't even get into my comedy. My comedy.
I don't know, man. You couldn't take my jokes, man, when I was saying you were high working all fast. I don't know how good you are at comedy.
No, I got some. I'm pretty.
Let's hear one. What do you got?
Well, there's.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Okay, well, I mean, I have some. Well, I'm still working on. Like, I have some. My mother would be upset about my. My mother is a devout Christian prayer warrior. I tell people, I would not even be alive if it wasn't for my mom's prayers and the creators looking out for me. Creators. And I tell my mom, I said, Mom, what are you gonna do if you get to heaven and you find out Jesus changed his name? And she's like, well, you go to and you see Moses and Noah, like, I want to see Jesus. Jesus. Where's Jesus at? And they're like, Jesus? His name's not Jesus anymore. He changed his name. She's like, huh? Yeah, his name's Luis. I'm like, what? She's like, what? And yeah, Luis was the 13th disciple. He didn't make it in the Bible, man. He was like Thomas's older brother. He was Luis, and he would hang around with him. And Jesus kind of looked up to him, man. He's like, Luis was cool. But Luis, he was just kind of like, he didn't make it in. He was kind of like, he was a bad guy kind of. He was like always picking on Jesus. He's always like, man, hurry up, Jesus. I'm thirsty. Turn that water to wine, man. What the heck? And he's always telling him, John, how come every time we got to come to a party, we come here and Jesus is always just down there washing people's hair with his feet, man. And he's just like, what the heck? Can't we just come to the party without you doing that, man? And, at Palm Sunday, the dress rehearsal, him and Zacchaeus were up in the tree and they're throwing figs at Jesus' feet, making fun of his sandals and stuff. And but Jesus kind of liked Luis. He just looked up to him because he was just a bad guy. He was like, so he gets to heaven and he asks God the Father, he says, I want to change my name. And then God says, well, what would you like it to be? And he's like, Luis. And he's like, and he's thinking about it, and he's like thinking about all the stuff and things he's done for humanity, humankind, and he's like, well, he shed the blood and for all the people and stuff, but he kind of was like, I don't know. And Jesus is so upset, he's like, Dad, damn it, because he's just pissed off. You're not supposed to say the Lord's name in vain. You can't say, gee, damn it. And he doesn't call him God. He says, Dad, damn it. And my mom, she just looks at me like, and I said, well, if I get to heaven, and she's always telling me, you don't want to get to heaven. And Jesus says, depart from me. I did not know you. And I would be like, what? What are you talking about? You're lying. What about the time on the beach when we were walking? And, you said you picked me up, footprints. We were walking together. And I said, hey, man, where did you go at that time of my life? I said, well, that's the time I picked you up and carried you. I'm like, yeah, well, what? You forgot about me all of a sudden there? You're lying, man. And so my mom, she just looks at me like, that's blasphemy, Those are my, the kind of blasphemy.
Okay, I'm going to say your DJing is pretty dope. And
those are blasphemy.
You could keep working on the comedy.
He was laughing. He was laughing over there because he probably grew up.
Michael's easy, man.
I really like Dad Damn It.
Yeah, Dad.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah. I mean, there is a whole bunch.
Michael laughs at everything.
I got shitty.
He laughs at me just the way I walk, or something.
Man, I'll tell you this real quick. I got some shitty comedy, and sometimes I tell my shitty shit bits is when I'm taking a shit, man. I'll tell you this. The worst time.
There you go.
Okay, here we go.
There you go. That was better.
The worst time. I have some times in my life where I've had the worst shits ever. To where I seriously 3 times in my
I
life.
told you we're not going to end the
No,
podcast
this-
talking
this-
about
no,
shit.
This is
I'm
just
just
kind of
kidding.
funny,
I'm
but
just kidding, man.
they're shitty. My shit, it's shitty comedy, you know. But I was at Jesus Saves one time, and I was telling this joke about like, man, I gotta go to the bathroom, and there's a coach. He's trying to coach these turds to go down the chute, you know, down your intestines. He's like, all right, kids, time to go down. Turd number 1, choo. Turd number 2, choo. Turd number 3, pew. Turd number 4 or 5. Sometimes they're hesitant. They're like, no, I'm not going down there. There's no lifeguard. He's like, no, there's a lifeguard down there. Go ahead, go down there. And so the bit was about me I'm taking a crap in the bathroom, and these dudes are in there and they're laughing and stuff. And there's a wall in there that you can't see somebody. There's this dude laying on the other side, and I didn't see him and stuff. I'm telling these jokes and stuff, and these people are laughing. And so the coach is talking to the little turds, trying to tell them, all right, kids, we got a competition coming up next week. I'm going to have to talk to your moms and dads about that. And the dude on the other side goes, you talking about my dad? I'm like, what? What? He's like, you talking about my dad? I didn't even know who this dude was. I just heard that voice. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Did you just not hear that 5-10 minute bit of me talking about the coach, talking to the turds and shit? And so I'm like talking. And
Is this a joke right now?
No, this is a true story.
Or is this a story?
No, this is a true story. I was in there. This is like 2 or 3 years ago. This is the worst shit I've ever taken in my life.
It's a story about when you minted that joke while you were on the toilet.
I thought we weren't ending the podcast talking
And
about
you were
poop.
telling the other people in the stalls this joke.
This joke about this, and they're laughing. And this dude thinks I'm talking. He's not listening. All he hears is dad, and then he's like, "You talking about my dad?" I'm like, "No." So then he calms down. I keep the bit.
Dad, nabbit.
Well, yeah. So I go a little bit more, and I talk to the coach again, and then I look up. The dude is standing in the doorway. You talking about my dad? And I'm like, oh fuck! This dude is big as the store is. The stall is wide, like a big old Samoan dude. He's like, you talking about my dad? I'm like, what? Boom! He just starts attacking me. We're fighting. My pants are down to my ankles. I'm taking a crap. We're fighting. The dude knifes me, slits my wrist a little bit, and I'm fighting and stuff.
Where the hell is this at?
In the bathroom at the Jesus Saves, the Lawrence Step.
Oh,
the
man.
mission, where you eat and stuff. We're fighting in the bathroom.
Children, another reason to stay off the streets.
Yeah, exactly. We're fighting, and I got his hands. I bite his hands, and then we come to a point where he kind of he looks down and he sees me. I'm just naked.
You're away from the mic
Oh
right
yeah.
now.
He looks down and realizes I'm fighting a dude who's got his pants down on his ankles. He's half naked, and we're fighting. And we stop, and he walks out. He had slit my wrist a little bit with a knife or a blade or something. I'm bleeding.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I didn't snitch that guy out or truck and telling him, because people are like, well, why didn't you say something? I was like, he's a Raiders fan. He had a badass Raider jacket on. And I said,
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Raider Nation, baby. Raider
Nation.
Raider
That's the best joke you told so far.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I didn't snitch him out, man, because he is about a badass Raiders jacket. And it's like,
Julio,
I can't do that to another
Julio, I
Raider.
said we weren't going to end the podcast on a poop story, but we ended up ending the podcast on a poop story.
Full circle.
No, I can
Thank
keep
you for
going
coming
about it.
again, Julio.
Right
I really
on.
appreciate it. I had a great time. I don't know about you.
No, I did.
I
I
really
really did.
appreciate you telling your story.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more offline about trying to get you, your birth certificate and the ID and stuff.
Back into the swing of things, back into life, to being a regular civilian in society. Become a homer, not a streetie. I was actually trying to write a book at one point called The Homers and Streeties. The people in homes, they're the ones that are homers.
Yeah, let's try to
on the
become a
street.
homer and let's get
Not off the street.
Let's
Get
not
off
be
the
a
street.
streetie no more.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, Julio. I
Right
appreciate
on,
it,
no
man.
problem.
Right
Thank
on,
you,
man.
Jeremiah.
Right on.
Thank you, Matthew.
Matthew.
Michael.
He had me going.
Yeah, that's Matthew.
Anyways, all right, man. Thank you, Julio.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Good one, man.